is going on, everybody? It is episode 945 of Pop Culture Crisis. It's a bit scatterbrained for a start here today, but my name is Brett, and I'm here once again with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary, and I lied yesterday. It is not Tate Wednesday, but I hope you can at least... You can cope with a Seamus Wednesday, I think.
That's right, Seamus Wednesday. I'm here to hang out with you guys. How's it going? Culture War Kittens, as I call my that's my name for my kittens.
Like
They're my culture. Well, listen, that was the name they chose. They gave me that name to call them. So if you're one of Shamer's Culture War Kittens, great to see you. Love you.
Guarantee you, there's at least like one right-wing thought out there that calls herself Culture War Kitten.
Yeah,
No. None of them are thoughts. They're all my fans. They're based in red-pilled alphas. Every single person in my fan base is a based in red-pilled alpha. Can I get an amen from my Culture War Kittens in the chat, please?
You're getting meows in the chat. Is that okay?
Oh no.
No. Culture War Kittens don't meow.
This is worse than the Sweet Baby Gang.
Yeah.
Sweet Baby Gang?
That's the Matt Walsh fandom.
Is that what they're called?
Babies.
Wait, what? Where does that come from?
I think he was like making fun of some woman on TikTok who was saying like sweet baby, and then he signed off his show one time calling his fans the Sweet Babies.
I suppose that's right up his
alley. They
alley.
just kind of like took it and ran with it.
All I can tell you is this: we're getting a lot of amens from my based and red-pilled Culture War alpha male kittens in the chat. Thank you. I see you. It's a real recognizes real kind of thing.
This is mutiny in the chat. You guys are crisis actors.
Yes.
Culture War Kittens.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's a mutiny.
Maybe
guys.
there's some overlap. Maybe there's some overlap.
Can you be both?
You don't have
some
to
Culture
pick a
War
side.
Kittens can be crisis actors, but in their hearts, they're Culture War Kittens. That's the ultimate. Any based and red-pilled alpha man knows.
Right.
Can they be both? Are you allowed to be both?
You can be both, yeah.
You can be part of multiple fandoms?
Yeah, you don't have to pick a side.
You can be like
We can have shared custody.
You can be a Swiftie and a McRacist at the same time.
Yeah,
I'm just saying
right.
we're getting a lot of amens in that chat.
There we go.
It
Guys,
speaks for itself.
Hit the like button on this video, please. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Remember to share the episode and the segments out with everybody in your life that you both love and hate. The more people that you share this show with, the faster this channel can grow. It is the best way to help us, so thank you guys so much for that. We got a bunch of stuff to get into today. Number one, of course, being Mel Gibson is getting a certain amount of backlash right now because he's in the process of making The Resurrection, which is, of course, the sequel to The Passion of the Christ, and he has cast a woman named, and I'm not kidding you, Kasia Smutniak as Mary, and it's not her name that's the problem. It's that she's got a history of pro-choice activism.
Oh boy, it's not great.
Which, you know, when you're starting to, face paint yourself with activist slogans, people are gonna call it into question given the religious nature of the film you're making. So we're gonna talk about that. Also, plus-size model Tess Holliday. It's a name I hadn't heard in a very long time. She detailed this story about being fat-shamed on an airplane, which it's quite wild. So we'll get into that. We are also going to talk about the way in which Halloween decorations are no longer for kids. It's just for adults so that they can be mean to kids by making the yard too scary.
Redditors have ruined Halloween. For who it's truly
What
for.
haven't they ruined, though, right? It's just everything.
Yeah,
we need to do
pretty much
something.
everything they touch.
Exactly. A real Culture War kitten knows that Reddit.com is not the place to hang out. Bad influences there.
We're going to steal his merch. We're going to make a Culture War Kitten shirt
No,
for our
sorry,
channel.
I did it first. I invented it. They would never buy it from you guys, by the way. They're alpha males. That includes loyalty.
All right.
You've got some coffee, do you not?
Yeah, I do. Since the Culture War Kittens are here, I
They
didn't
might
know
want-
we
they
had
might-
this new fan base. You should go to castbrew.com and grab yourself a bag of Mary's Ghost Blend, my s'mores flavored coffee. Perfect for autumn, perfect for the Halloween season, telling ghost stories around the campfire, as you can see on the back of the bag. I like it. And it smells cinnamony, but the taste is like nice and smoky. Don't worry about it tasting like a candy bar.
Okay. And there's probably at least a couple of people in the audience here that were not here when you were on last time. Do you want to tell people about what's going on?
All right, so we have a serious problem in this country, which is that we have the best, most well-developed infrastructure that has ever existed for storytelling in all of history. You can literally put images and sounds in people's homes. Now, the problem is this technology has been dominated for decades by people who hate your culture, who hate your way of life, who hate your family, who hate your religious convictions, and they have been chipping away at the world that you live in for decades with their propaganda. That is why myself and my team of animators are pushing back. I'm the creator of Freedom Tunes. We have over 1 million subscribers, over 290 million views with $0 spent on marketing. $0 spent on marketing. Because we make a product that people enjoy. And now we're creating a full-length animated show. We've already got the 25-minute long pilot finished. You can see that at twistedplots.com if you support the show. Twisted Plots is the animated anthology series that we're creating, and each episode communicates a solid right-wing message, not through ham-fisted monologues, but through funny jokes and good storytelling. We need you to help us get fully funded so we can create the future of right-wing entertainment, and so it can be grassroots and not co-opted by the organizations who are pushing far-left woke nonsense in the first place. So go over to twistedplots.com, support us, help us get this made, help us create the future of entertainment. I've got the team, the track record, and the experience. You give me your support, and I will be unstoppable.
Incredible pitch, Seamus. 07's in chat from the Culture War Kittens.
Okay.
For that pitch.
And we need crisis parties so that we don't end up on EBT when it comes back.
Yeah. Our crisis parties are our EBT
Our
cards.
EBT cards. I'd like to think that it's like after every episode we have to swipe our card and it puts the money from
One
the crisis
like
party
equals
on
one EBT.
Exactly. We got that. We got a whole bunch of other stuff. If you guys are ready, we can go. Mary, you ready?
Yeah, let's
do
go.
it.
James, good. All right, let's go for it.
I don't know what's going on lately, but the media keeps recognizing powerful women, and Variety is no
Ew.
exception. They have listed out Variety's most powerful women, and that included Sydney Sweeney and other examples, but also Nicole Scherzinger, who is recognized mostly for being the former lead of the Pussycat Dolls, but her career has continued since then, and she is now promoting her role as Norma Desmond in this revival of Sunset Boulevard on Broadway. And she did a full-length interview with Variety because of their recognition of her for this role. And it was mentioned, just buried in the middle of the article, that she is Christian. And she said that she has been met with a lot of backlash in Hollywood for being Christian, unsurprisingly. So here it states, Broadway can be unwelcoming, and Nicole Scherzinger's outspoken faith makes her something of an outlier in an industry that balks at too much Jesus talk, especially when that talk becomes entwined with Trump messaging. She learned that when she commented on a Russell Brand Instagram post the day after the 2024 election.
Do you want to give some context for that? Because
Yeah.
like, you had to remind. It felt like so
I
long
know
ago
that she like
it was a
got
thing.
canceled, but I don't know what even happened. And she clearly still has plenty of opportunities on the table, so I wouldn't call that like a full-on like you're done for cancellation. But she commented on this Russell Brand selfie where he was wearing a red hat, spoofing the MAGA hat, which says, I think, make Jesus first again.
Based?
She commented on his Instagram post saying, like, where do I get this hat? She likes it because she's Christian, with prayer hands emojis and heart emojis. She later deleted the comment because people were immediately coming after her for, I guess, just suggesting that she's Christian and wants to wear something that expresses that. And also, of course, because they were offended that she was associating herself with Russell Brand, who is also, to some extent, canceled. She deleted the comment and made a big mistake by apologizing the next day on
it never
Instagram.
works.
She said at the time, I deeply apologize for the hurt caused by my recent engagement with some social media posts. Not gonna get any more specific than that, I guess. When I commented on these posts, I made the mistake of not realizing they could be easily interpreted as being politically related, and I apologize to anyone who understandably reached that conclusion. Many presumptions are being drawn which do not reflect who I am, what I stand for, or who I voted for. Many of the marginalized communities feeling hurt and concerned by the results of the presidential election are people I care about the most. I stand with them as I always have throughout my life and career. If you know me, you know that. She added that during troubling times, she finds solace in her faith and thought that the post encouraged people to lean on their faith. She said,
people are going to misinterpret whatever you say.
That's exactly right.
Yes. I believe that the post I engaged with were encouraging people to choose faith, putting Jesus first. For me, Christ embodies peace, compassion, hope, and above all, unconditional love, especially for those who may feel it the least right now. I come from a place of love, and I will always support values that bring us closer together. It's so important we come together with compassion and love one another more now than ever. So she tried to quell the rage that was being sent her way with this apology post.
You can't.
It never works.
Never works.
It's always a failing
Can somebody
move.
point to
All
a
right.
specific example where like everybody was mad at them and they made a single post and everybody was like, you know what?
Exactly.
Fair point.
Never happened.
The apology actually worked. A real alpha male culture war kitten knows that you cannot serve two masters.
Just have no
And
social media.
if you try to hedge your bets and go, well, you know, I really am Christian, but like I understand and respect and support all the people who hate Christianity, you're just not going to go anywhere. What you have to express is that by bringing them the light of truth, you are supporting them. Part of what supporting a person means, part of what loving them means, is saying, this is what the truth is, even if you don't like it. And she didn't even say anything that controversial. She just said Jesus should be put first. She left a comment on a post saying Jesus should be put first, and people are freaking out. You cannot give them an inch. You
No.
can't give them an inch.
I could look, it would still have been the wrong move, but if it was like her commenting on like an actual MAGA hat, I guess I could understand the backlash. But since when was even look, I know that Hollywood is known to blacklist people for talking about Jesus and for talking about God, but like the general public, like what side of the internet was she on where this was even controversial in 2024?
I think that they were coming after her for other evidence that she is MAGA.
Okay, so that makes more sense.
I
to
don't
me.
know if she's ever come right out and said that she voted for Trump. I don't think she has, but it's reasonable to assume perhaps that's possible. And
Russell Brand is already
Russell
persona
Brand
non
is-
grata.
yeah, he already was like well post cancellation
Yeah.
by the time that she
I
commented
forgot
on
about
his
that part,
on his
yeah.
post. But I think that she made this calculated move to say like that doesn't reflect who I voted for. So it could she didn't say who she voted for. She just said like my comment didn't reflect anything about my my voting decision. So she chose not to clarify whether she voted for Kamala or Trump. People, of course, assumed that she voted for Trump. And I believe she thinks that, you know, even if she came right out and said one way or the other how she voted, that would affect how people respond. I think that's untrue. I think even if she said that she voted for Kamala, they would still come after her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
just by
she-
associating with Russell Brand,
They'd be like, you didn't vote hard enough. She lost.
Right.
You didn't use your platform to
Right.
get other people to vote for her.
Exactly.
You voted for Kamala and you didn't tell people. Yeah,
Right.
there's nothing
Remember,
she's going to...
your platform, you are not obligated to share with anybody. If you want to be entirely selfish with whatever you do with your platform, you're allowed to do that. You don't have to promote charities. You don't have to promote anything. If all you want to do is reap the benefits of the fact that people like you, that is your right to do so.
Right. They always come after entertainers for not using their platforms responsibly.
And that always
Use it
means promoting my
irresponsibly.
politics. Like
Right.
if someone has a platform and they're encouraging children to be confused about their biological sex, it's like, well, that was a responsible use of your platform. No, that was not.
So-
it's just a dog whistle. Responsible means whatever I want it to mean at the moment.
They rehashed this whole controversy in the Variety piece that was just published, and she noted that she is not sorry for the Jesus endorsement. It's just so funny, the idea that we have to endorse Jesus.
Yeah.
And notes that she is not alone in her devotion. She says in this article, I have a wonderful church that I go to in Hollywood. Most of my friends in Hollywood are Christians. I think Christianity does get a bad rap, but I think that's why if you're a true Christian, you have to lead by example and be the light.
Okay.
So still not commenting on politics, only commenting on her faith, and just continues getting backlash for that.
Yeah, you got to just write
Lessons
it
must
out.
be learned from this.
Exactly. You got it. You got to. I mean, but it's possible, and I would say even likely, given her status, that she's dealing with some kind of PR firm or agency, and they were saying you have to do it this way. Here's what the kids want.
here's what the kids want, actually. When they come after you in one of these cancel cultures, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to apologize. Like, they have, these consultants have no idea what they're talking about, and they've never actually engaged with the culture. And so they'll give you very, very bad advice. And that's what this reeks of. Either that or she just panicked and had no idea what she was doing. But, like, 100% the wrong move on every front. You never apologize. I think it was Lou Perez who said this. I'll shout him out. He had this great quote where he's like, I don't apologize to people I don't respect for things I'm not sorry for.
Yeah.
And that lives in my head. That lives in my head.
So, Katie in the chat says, I don't respect this woman. She said sorry for the attack she got. She's a coward. I think the problem is, though, is that this type of quote-unquote cancel culture works best on people who are generally polite and nice and want to get along with everybody. And the problem is it makes more people into extremists because you're not allowed to just exist in the middle. You're pushed one way or the other. And this exists in politics as well, where, you know, you can't take a moderate stance on things because the doomers on both sides of the aisle are going to tell you that the end is nigh and you need to pick a side. So for those of you who might just not feel that pull towards either end of the spectrum, you're going to be pushed consistently to do so. And when people are telling you that you're the bad guy, that forces her to either apologize or lean harder into it. And she may not feel the desire. So I imagine that for some people, you guys would know better, but some people take their faith in a more private way. Like, they don't want to talk about it openly. The hope would be that they live their values and their morals, but that doesn't mean that they necessarily want to talk about it and make it part of their public brand. But if you're making her choose between the two, and she's been in the public spotlight for 20 years now? That was like the early 2000s.
Thereabouts.
That's what she knows. That's her lifeline to her work and her money. And you're making her choose between the two. And, you know, what you get then in response is some type of answer that's going to be perceived as cowardice, because in a lot of ways it's partially that. It's also that they just haven't learned how to deal. A lot of people, especially older celebrities, don't know how to deal with this.
They're not social media literate.
No.
And it's funny because at the time everyone was saying, like, you're going to get blacklisted by the Tony Awards for that. She did end up winning a Tony anyway, but I think that just is proof of how out of touch the left has gotten. They still think that they have control over things like that.
Yeah.
And this reminded me of a recent interview that Jamie Lee Curtis did, where she addressed all of the backlash that she received for saying positive things about Charlie Kirk after he was assassinated. I think that maybe she's backtracking now. She, at the time...
She is backtracking. Now, they're saying she was... She says she says I was misinterpreted.
She said at the time that she hopes, because Charlie was a man of faith, that in the moments of his passing, he was able to connect with God. It was a very vague way that she worded it, but she basically said that she hopes that he met his
She
savior.
hopes she went to heaven, yeah.
Yes, and then everyone was like, how dare you say this? You're supposed to be an ally. Your daughter identifies as trans. She has a son who is very confused and calls himself Ruby. And she was put to the test in this recent interview to answer for what she said. She said in this backtracking response, an excerpt of it was mistranslated to say I was wishing him well, like I was talking about him in a very positive way, which
Almost
I
as
wasn't.
If he was still alive, which
I
is
was
obviously
simply
not true.
talking about his faith in God. So it was a mistranslation. In the binary world today, you cannot hold two ideas at the same time. I can't be Jewish and believe in Israel's right to exist and at the same time reject the destruction of Gaza. You can't say that because you get vilified for having a mind that says, I can hold both of those thoughts. I can be contradictory in that way.
Human beings are generally contradictory. And the thing is before the age of social media where you wore all your opinions and ideas on your sleeve, you had friends and neighbors who probably had a lot of contradictory beliefs and ideas because human beings are not that linear.
Right.
They're not.
And I thought at the time, like, wow, this is really good that Jamie Lee Curtis, despite being such a political radical ideologue and trans ally, she can still recognize this man's humanity, unlike the rest of her side. but then she didn't stand on business when she was held to account for it.
She should be one of those celebrities that she's so old and successful now. She should
Yeah,
be
who
able to just
cares?
be like, fuck off.
Yeah, I know, but this is the thing. You actually get to a point of wealth where the only thing that matters to you is your reputation. So all of us, we have certain needs that need to be met, and if you're not tremendously wealthy, you sort of balance all of them when you're thinking about worldly things. How am I going to pay the rent/mortgage? How am I going to get food on the table? How am I going to keep my business going? Whatever it is. When you become ultra successful and you never have to worry about your material needs again, like reputation is the only thing that you have to think about. Whereas for most of us, reputation is one of the things among many other things that we need to think about in order to survive.
Yeah.
Like for them, it's all that there is. So even if they have every dime they'll ever need for the rest of their lives, they're like, did I say the wrong thing? I need to make sure that everyone knows that I don't think the wrong thing. I think the right thing. It's like, and it's the problem is it's not alpha male behavior. Jamie Lee
Yeah.
Curtis, you need to become an alpha. All right.
Culture war kitten.
And if you even wanted to, you could potentially someday become a culture war kitten. Go to twistedplots.com. Support us.
That was such a beta move on her part.
It was a total beta move on Jamie Lee Curtis's part.
There was also some quote like where she said like when she got hired to do Halloween, she's like, yeah, I had like no skills and no talent. It was actually kind of funny because it was self-deprecating, but I digress. Let's move on.
Yeah, so guys, if you thought feminism in the West was crazy and off the rails, just get ready for a glimpse into feminism in China.
Oh no.
I mean, they're kind of actually a crystal ball into our future, if you think about it. There is this term I just learned about in China. It's Nan Bao Mu. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but it basically means male nanny. And there are feminist career women in China choosing, instead of getting married, to hire these male nannies as companions and helpers in their households. So
they're like listen, I'm an alpha woman, I'm a high-powered feminist girl boss, but I need someone to cheat on. There isn't that special someone to cheat on in my life.
Ingredient.
Is it like
I will get a male nanny.
or is it that they're scared that that their child is going to bond with like
No, they
a
don't have
female?
children.
Okay.
They don't have children. The male nanny is basically a maid.
Oh,
These are
okay.
childless, unmarried
So
women.
they're being nannied.
Yes,
Yes.
they're being nannied.
The man is nannying.
So we don't often get much insight into what's going on in China because obviously the media doesn't translate well, but there is this one write-up. Marriage, no thanks. Women in China are paying for Kens over traditional relationships. So I guess the English
Prostitution.
nickname for these male nannies, they're called Kens.
Okay.
Women have swapped traditional relationships with Kens who help with household chores and even provide emotional support for them. For decades, society has placed countless expectations on women. They are expected to follow a set path, find a husband, build a family, and dedicate their lives to others. But today, things are changing. Women across the world are breaking free from these regressive ideas and choosing to live life on their own terms. One country where many women have decided not to have a traditional relationship anymore is China. Instead of choosing the traditional route of marriage and family, Chinese women are focusing on their happiness and independence. These women still enjoy companionship and care, but without commitments. So the Kens are brought in to fill the void the husband otherwise would, and you're not expected to keep them around for long. Some of these Chinese women even rotate out Kens seasonally based on how they're feeling. If they're tired of the Ken that they have, they can just replace him with a new one. I want to show this Instagram video where this creator explains the phenomenon.
Okay. Here we go.
On a different level. A lot of wealthy Chinese ladies are staying single, or at least they don't want a traditional relationships. So they will hire what is called a Ken, basically a young, pretty male nanny. Guys like this, they know how to make you happy, helps you with chores, goes shopping
Arranging
with
flowers.
you, and provides you a lot of time emotional
What could go
support.
wrong?
And
Folding
believe
the
or not, this is a
laundry.
real service industry. These guys are totally professional. They are fit, tall, over 6 feet, emotionally stable, gentle, and detail-oriented. They can cook, clean, tidy up, drive, even pick up your kids from school. They will never argue with you and will be available anytime to meet your needs. And this is a real thing, I'm not joking, because there's a rich lady from my yoga studio who actually does this. She's in her 40s, single, successful, rich, got her own business, very well established, and she got multiple kids. She rotates them every few months. Depends on her moods. You know what? Yes, queen. Feminism.
Of course, the response from American women is yes, queen.
The top comment says the bare minimum for a mother is a paid job for men. No, this would be a paid job for women too. They're called nannies for a reason.
Oh yeah. This is kind of in different iterations all across China and Japan, from what I've seen. If you wanted to just get scratch the surface of how messed up their culture is, I found a variety of headlines. Some Chinese women, mostly in their 20s, are spending over $2.3 million flirting with virtual boyfriends.
Oh, no.
They're playing a virtual game where you select from different male characters, and some women are spending tens of thousands of dollars on gifts for these virtual boyfriends.
Oh, my gosh. What?
Here's another one. Fantasy meets reality. Why Chinese women are hiring female cosplayers to play their dream men.
Okay.
They're hiring women pretending to be men to
Right.
be okay.
Yes.
Well, but this gets to the core of a lot of what I've been saying about gender warfare, and a real alpha male does not play that. Because there is a spiritual homosexuality to all of it. 99% of the complaints you hear from feminists about not being able to find a good man, it's like, you want to date a woman. You're describing a woman. And then similarly with a lot of men who are like, oh, women these days, they're like not direct and they don't. It's like, okay, you want to date a man. Like this is all very clearly on a spiritual level gay. And that epitomizes it. They're a little bit ahead of where we are. It's like, yes, I'm going to get a woman to pretend to be a man. Well, what a shock that that's where feminist rhetoric led.
Yeah, and obviously, feminism is mainstream in the West. Most young women, at the very least, are to some degree self-proclaimed feminists. But if you look at the cultures in China or Korea or Japan, radical feminism is really taking off there. The 4B movement in Korea was momentarily adopted by American women post-election.
What was that again?
Yeah, the movement is 4B. It means 4 no's. You're not dating men, you're not marrying men, you're not having children with men, you're not having sex with men. These are the 4 pillars of that radical feminist movement in Korea. And that was being spread on TikTok after the election. Don't know how long that lasted, though. But, radical feminism is becoming more and more mainstream in the East, not the West. Yeah. And it's, again, as I said, sort of a glimpse into our future if things continue sliding downhill. And I think that marriage broke down in these cultures before these movements took off. They have a very mainstream idea of hiring sex workers and escorts in China and Japan that's considered totally normal. Obviously, women in those cultures don't want to accept that as normal, and then they see male partnership as out of their reach.
Yeah.
And in a way, it's sort of a reaction to the cultural attitudes that men have in their cultures, which are totally alien to us. And that's another one I was going to mention. There are now services in China for mistress hunters. There are women paying $150,000 for experts to end their husband's affairs, with tactics including fake car accidents and paying wealthy suitors to woo the girlfriends away. So they're like hiring out men to lure their husband's mistress into a different relationship. They're like going undercover to bring their husband back to the marriage.
So complicated.
Like crazy stuff. And then another headline from China: wanted at Chinese startups, attractive women to ease coders' stress. Cheerleaders for the office. Chinese tech companies are hiring pretty women to motivate male employees by chatting, playing ping pong, and bringing them breakfast to create a fun work environment for the men. And that's obviously because they have a totally different work culture as well. In these cultures, they are expected to do more so the 6 to 9 schedule instead of the 9 to 5, and it's causing people to be so unmotivated and drained and suicidal.
I watched like a BuzzFeed documentary a couple of years ago about like they just work until they die.
They do.
They
often
get up
shut
every
down
day.
public transport because of people jumping on the tracks.
Well, this is all right. So all of this crazy stuff you described like 12 different things there that men and women are doing it. Here's the reality: men and women are different. It's difficult for us to contend with one another. You can either deal with that with monogamy and a traditional understanding of marriage and family, or all of this other crap. Like, it can either be really simple but somewhat difficult, or it can be really complicated and infinitely difficult.
Yeah.
Those are your options, basically. And a lot of what these women are doing, it's just driven by spite. Even if you exist in a culture that wants to deny the actual differences between men and women, the truth is, just on a psychological, spiritual level, the man is giving. He wants to give to him and he wants to provide for him. The woman is receptive. She wants to take what a man has to provide and transform it into something else. So if you have a culture where like the men are going to prostitutes, the women are going to take that and they're going to multiply that into something else, which is what we see happening with all of these bizarre practices. It is completely and entirely the women feeding off of men's energy and doing very spiteful things with it. And they hate when you say that, because the thing that matters to them more than anything else when they're in this spiteful mindset is trying to convince themselves and others that this has nothing to do with men. They're just doing this because they want to and they're fully empowered, and it's obviously not the case. Their behaviors are completely and totally driven by men and by the choices the men around them have made.
Well, that's why they talk about centering men.
There's no denying that the 4B movement is a reactionary movement.
Yeah.
It didn't just spring up out of nowhere. They're clearly using it as some sort of revenge tactic in the ongoing battle of the sexes. And it's just disheartening to see that the majority of the American women being introduced to this concept on social media are saying this is aspirational.
I know.
I would love to hire a pretty Ken to clean my windows. Forget dating apps. I need a Ken app.
I mean,
she's angry. Like, they're all bitter.
The men would look different because the American standard for male attractiveness is different than the Chinese one. But yeah, same thing.
I mean, it's just like...
Yeah, they would look less Chinese.
Do you really believe that these older Chinese women, living on their own income, single forever, are happy?
They are in prime I am angry at men territory, right? Like, everything you just described about that woman is, I'm not saying that this is the case for every woman in that position, but it is like prime I hate men and I'm bitter with them territory. So if there's something that a group of women in that particular demographic are doing, you have a pretty good idea of what the motivation there might be.
I'm sure we're missing a lot of the context here because Chinese culture is different from ours in countless ways.
Yeah, that's true.
They're deeply secular. They have no freedom of expression. They are not really allowed to practice religion unless it's approved by the government.
Yeah.
They, up until recently, of course, had the one-child policy, and families were not being facilitated or encouraged whatsoever. So that all started, and this is the natural conclusion of it.
If you wanted like a way of thinking about it in the terms of like entertainment, this is how I've come to look at these types of things. So if you want to think about the idea of what a traditional family means to society and what ideas like this mean to society, if you're talking about traditional storytelling or traditional movie making or book or writing a book and things like that, stories about family are omnipresent and they will always exist, and they're extremely popular because there's something everybody can resonate with. But when you talk about these types of niche ideas, these are the types of things that go in and out of phases and waves. The way I would describe it is, if you were watching a television show, an arc about an entire family will span an entire season or the length of the show, whereas something like this would be look how novel that idea is. It would get an episode of time because people would just think of it as weird and they would move on with their lives. You have to think of it in the context of a larger idea, and ideas about family and love and commitment and betrayal and all the things that come with it, because there's a lot of media that center, the ideas like it's not always going to be, rainbows and butterflies. Obviously, a lot to do with men, women, and family in movie making is conflict, right?
Yep.
Not always
Yep.
the greatest message, but it's riveting storytelling because it's something everybody can at least grasp the ends of because they are connected to something like family. But ideas like this are so foreign to someone, they're like, oh, that was weird. And maybe it makes for something interesting for for 45 minutes, but it's not something that's going to span any length of time.
Well, and you know, people are drawn to conflict. Conflict is necessary for story, and it's fine to have conflict between men and women in the media you're making, so long as there's resolution, so long as you communicate like a thoroughly thought out moral about A, how you solve that problem, or just B, what caused it. Right now, a lot of what you get in media when you have stories about men and women is either man bad, man does bad thing, man bad for no reason, or it's just a tangled web of nonsense and this relationship is pointless and impossible and how do we fix anything? And in part, that's because A, Hollywood writers believe men bad, or their relationships are always failing, and they're thinking, oh, it's a tangled mess. You can never possibly solve the problem. And so that's not good because the number one way we learn things is through story, and all of the stories that we're told about marriage basically tell you, don't get married. It's a really bad idea.
3 examples of that come to mind are Marriage Story with Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson. Of course, the new iteration of it, Die My Love, with Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson. It's just super dysfunctional relationships. There's no resolution shown in the story. And third being Night Bitch, starring Amy Adams. It is a story about a woman who transforms into a dog at night to express her feral nature because she's living in domestic prison. It's just like
That's at least more interesting than the other two.
it's bleakness though. It's
Yes,
bleak,
yes.
and it doesn't provide any hope in the story. So
Yeah, well, that's exactly
Yeah.
it. There's no hope. And one of the things that we're doing with Twisted Plots is if there was a moral, I would say, is at the bottom of every story. It's that life matters and morality is real. Like, that's the message I'm trying to communicate because so much filmmaking and so much storytelling is completely nihilistic. Everything sucks. There's nothing you can do about it. It's done to demoralize you. And the people who want to control you need for you to be demoralized in order for them to do that. Why are you going to fight back against those who are trying to take things from you or rule you if you don't have any hope? So go to twistedplots.com. Help us make the future of entertainment. I'm
You're a
serious.
real alpha.
I'm serious. We are making this show because we've got to reshape this culture. Everything that's made by Hollywood is terrible, and they're pushing horrible messages onto you and your family and destroying our culture. We need to turn this around.
link for that is in the description, guys.
All right. What would you guys like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
Let's see the cringe first.
First? Okay. Here we go.
This is okay. I need to explain the context.
Is that
This
Elizabeth
guy.
Warren?
Yes.
Oh, it is.
This
Okay.
guy gets hired to show up at like red carpet events and stuff like this to ambush celebrities and serenade them. But sometimes he just serenades like politicians. He's serenaded Obama at this point, now Elizabeth Warren. It's just supposed to be awkward and they don't know how to react.
God bless America and all the beautiful
She doesn't know what to do with her hands.
women. May you stand proud and strong like
At least he's not a bad singer. It's like
It's
an,
okay.
It's an
It would be
offshoot of
way better if he was a bad singer.
It's
No.
supposed,
It would be
it's supposed to be a
100
little
times
bit
better.
bad. It's supposed to be like just bad enough that it's awkward.
shining all night long. Do you like Lana Del Rey?
Yeah.
That is the song of my people.
You never answered that question because he's about to hit you with what's your
Name
favorite.
5
Name
songs.
5 like never co-sign something if you don't have the evidence to back it up.
Does he hit her with that?
No, it
Oh, that would have been
Cut off.
hilarious. Like,
It would
yeah.
have been worse. Okay, so as you know, the only cringe that I can't sit through is bad singing. I hate bad
Yeah.
singing. At least that singing wasn't bad.
It was
just
just
Land
meh.
of the free. That's one of those things where you remember on American Idol, they're such
I
awful
loved the
people. How they would push,
auditions.
but they would push people through who were really bad, and they would tell them they were good to give them the confidence to sing, which is so sad, just so they could be humiliated on television. And you look at those people and you go, dude, they didn't have one person in their life who loved them. Like, they didn't have one person around them to go, hey man,
I
I
don't
know you
know.
love singing, but
I think they just
don't
wanted to
go
be on
on
TV.
American
You have
Idol.
other
Don't
skills.
do
That's
it.
what you tell
There's
me, like,
other
you're good
things
at
you're
other
good
things
at.
you're good at.
You can go on like cleaning the dishes Idol. You would crush it. They don't have a
Yes.
show for it right now, but you wouldn't embarrass yourself. American Idol, it's gonna destroy your life.
You ever
It's gonna
seen
ruin
those,
you.
Those videos of like the German cart pushing contests where they're in a big studio and they have to push the cart across the studio floor into a cart corral?
I have not seen that.
It's amazing. You gotta see that stuff. All right. This is from Deadman. Cute of the day says Valentine has turned into a basket case while Twitch and Indy sleep on my mom's bed and Raya sleeps on the floor.
Very cute.
That's a cool one. It's like a little basket.
Yeah.
I like that. Like, we don't have a basket for ours. So we've got like the top of our new cat tower has like a soft exterior on it, like prevents them from maybe like falling asleep and falling off. But cats are, they're agile. They'll catch. Oh, they're fighting. Or it looks like I hope that's just a pat on the head.
Very cute.
Very cute. Lots of them. All right. Let's move on.
So
Are those culture war kittens?
Those are culture.
Those
so
are,
okay, so somebody in the
culture war
chat,
kittens.
somebody in the
Of the
chat
culture
said
war
we
variety?
need to make PCC merch of culture war kittens, and it's Mocha, Toast, Chloe.
I'm sorry, bro. That's
Bucket.
I am the originator. Those are my fans of the culture war. They would riot. I'm just being honest. My fans would riot. They would lose their minds.
We're gonna get Jessica going on some culture war kitten
My
merch.
fans would riot.
Let's move on.
Okay, so there's a shakeup going on with the sequel to Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ. They just announced that they are recasting Jesus in the role. It used to be Jim Caviezel, but he is no longer attached to the project. And they chose this other actor. I forget his name, but it's no one we had heard of before, and a lot of people were mad about that. Now there is another controversy around who they cast as Mary, the Mother of God, in this movie. It is the resurrection of the Christ, so...
It was Jocko Otonin.
Yes, Jocko Otonin is the name of the new actor playing Jesus. Okay. But this actress is Polish. Her name is Kasia Smutniak. I don't know how to pronounce that in Polish accent, but that was her name. And people have dug through her social media history and found that she is outspokenly pro-choice, which naturally, runs contrary with the views of the majority of the people who are going to see this movie and Mel Gibson himself. And they went back and found this post from her on Instagram from October of 2020. And I want to contextualize this.
Are we supposed to, the date gives me pause. At a certain point, are we going to start giving people, 2020 amnesty, where it's like, you were locked in your house for 6 months, you started writing on your own face.
Well, look, that's
what
fine,
happened?
but she kept the post up, so I believe it still reflects her views.
Remember the lady who wrote BLM on her face with the Macklemore
Which was
song?
so based.
She wrote,
Good for her.
She wrote, I can't breath. And then did this. That lady probably still to this day lives in fear of being recognized. And she probably still agrees with it, but she just knows now that even if she agrees with it, she has been turned into a meme.
Well,
Listen,
I
it was
believe
super
this
cool.
probably still reflects the actress's views on abortion,
absolutely.
given that it's still up on her page. And in this photo, you can see her throwing up a middle finger.
Oh.
She has a bunch of slogans written on her face, mostly in Polish, but including right to abortion and my body, my choice.
Virtue signaling is so much more powerful in Polish.
Yeah. And so to put this into context, this was in October of 2020. That's relevant to abortion law in Poland. So currently, abortion in Poland is legal only in cases where the woman's life is endangered by the continuation of the pregnancy, when the pregnancy is a result of a criminal act such as rape or incest. So it's heavily restricted. This framework became significantly more restrictive following a ruling in Poland in October of 2020, which declared that abortion due to fetal abnormalities was unconstitutional, effectively eliminating one of the previous legal grounds for termination of a pregnancy.
And to be clear, that's literally them saying, no, eugenics is not allowed. You can't kill babies because they're disabled.
When this change took place, that's why she posted this. Here's her caption that was roughly translated from Polish, so it might not make a lot of sense. With sadness and horror, I saw how the decisions of this government are slowly changing my imagination about Poland. How they plasma a society. What my parents fought for is being trampled today. My children will be responsible for these giant steps back. As a mother, woman, and citizen of this country, I say enough. She calls out one of their politicians, saying she has violated the boundaries many times in the last few years. As a Polish woman who spent most of her life abroad, I watched it from afar. With sadness and horror, I saw that this government's decisions have changed Poland. So basically, she is protesting the decision by the Polish government to make it illegal for you to terminate a pregnancy because of like maybe Down syndrome or some other fetal abnormality or a diagnosis. And now this has come to the attention of American fans of Mel Gibson who were at one point planning to support the resurrection of the Christ. And they're calling him out, saying you should not have chosen this woman in the cast.
In my headcanon, he was the one who actually went through her posts, and he stopped at 2021, and now he's like, damn!
It's like, oh, there was only one more year.
This one post says, Mel Gibson, would you really want Kasia Smutniak to play Mary, the mother of Jesus? Explain what this woman wants, all of the inscriptions on her face. If she played this role, more than half of Poles would not watch your movie. And he's probably like, oh no, half of Poland.
How big is look? I'm
Listen,
Polish. Is that I'm the bad guy here? How big is Poland?
Probably not very big in
Okay.
the grand scheme of things. And this has now been posted by some American accounts.
What does Luke Rakowski have to say about this?
No, listen, Luke, we don't have to. Luke, don't make me laugh. Don't make me laugh.
We need his official
Luke
verdict as
Rakowski.
the representative of all Poles. Now, some people are pointing out that she shouldn't be fired. Their idea as to why she should be kept on the project is that this might be an evangelizing opportunity. This person posted, Kasia Smutniak, an outspoken pro-abortion advocate, has been cast as the Virgin Mary in Mel Gibson's sequel to The Passion of the Christ. During the casting of The Passion of the Christ, Luca Leonello, who played Judas, and Pietro Cerubi, who played Barabbas, converted to Catholicism by the end of the filming. What a perfect opportunity to play our Blessed Mother, that she will guide Kasia Smutniak home to the Catholic Church and to her beloved son, Jesus. So they're saying she should be kept on the project in the hopes that her experience with the rest of the
Is
cast and
life-changing.
playing
Yeah.
the Virgin Mary will change her mind in some
Okay,
way.
what are your thoughts?
Wouldn't it be hilarious if people got mad because the guy who played Judas was like a good upright man? They're like, no, you need a sinner for that role. He needs to be a bad person.
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't
you got
have
a
to-
Mel
pro-lifer to
Gibson's
play
like, I'll do it
Judas.
myself.
We've been talking about that a lot, how people can't separate fiction
Mm-hmm.
from reality, and they tend to identify an actor with the character they
Yes.
played. Like, they hate the actor because the character they played did something they
Oh
didn't
my
like.
gosh, yeah, that 100% happens, and you're like, no, dude, that you should love that actor because they did such a good job making you believe in that
Yeah.
role that you hate the character. Like, the more you hate the character, the more you've got to appreciate the actor because they did that. Like, unless it's a character who's supposed to be good and the actor screws it up.
Yeah.
But Brett asked you how you felt about it. I want to let you jump in before I say my piece since you were asked first.
I think they could have been more discerning about who to cast
Mm.
in the role. However, I'm sure there are secular people working on The Chosen.
Yes.
Not
Was there,
just
like, a
behind the scenes, but
controversy?
also as actors
There
in the
was-
show.
There was a controversy where there was like a pride flag on someone's bag.
Yeah, that
and
was
it,
a
like,
crew
it was a
member,
crew-
but
that's what
I
I'm saying.
mean-
It's a crew member.
But
Like,
that still, means
At
something.
a certain level, it's like if you're trying to cast from experienced actors for a Hollywood movie like this, like you're gonna have a really tough time getting everyone on the same page.
how important? So the question is, how important is the message? Because if the important part is the message, then what you want is the actor who can best and most adeptly perform the role in hopes that it changes some
Yeah.
hearts and minds. And if that means that along the way her heart and her mind has changed, then that's a good thing as well. But if the message is what's important rather than the creation, obviously the process of making it matters as well. But I mean, I would imagine that the end result, the final product of what you create is what you're looking to put out there.
Yeah, it's really tough because I definitely see both sides of this. I understand people saying you should have been more discerning about this. And earlier we were talking about the fact that Jamie Lee Curtis got in trouble for saying she wanted Charlie Kirk to be in heaven.
Yeah.
So we know when Hollywood makes a film, they care very much about ensuring the person acting in that film agrees with them.
Right.
And then, Mel Gibson's crew is casting a pro-abortion woman, an outspoken pro-abortion woman to play Mary. But the other side of it is, A, it's possible she's repented since then. If she has, I believe it would be proper for her to make an equally public statement repenting of her advocacy as opposed to just doing it in private. But I also can imagine that it's possible for somebody in her position to have a truly converting experience playing the Blessed Virgin Mary and abandon her previous pro-abortion position in order to become pro-life. I wasn't in the casting room. Maybe whoever did cast her is a devout Catholic and they felt the Holy Spirit nudge them in that direction because God Almighty knows that this woman is going to convert through playing the Blessed Virgin Mary, through getting in the proper mindset. So it's really impossible to say, but I do definitely understand the concerns. My hope is that if she remains on the project, that this is a converting experience from her, and then she uses her very powerful voice and platform to push back against abortion in Poland.
I think the real risk here is if they have her doing press for the movie and she doesn't do justice to promoting the movie properly, right? If this comes up in interviews, if she is given a bait question to address this controversy, which, knowing how Hollywood journalists operate, is a likely outcome.
Yeah.
If she is not properly trained to respond to that, it could be really bad for the reception of the movie, like PR-wise.
More so now than in 2004, whenever
Like,
the
you gotta
original movie
keep these
came out.
actors on a tight leash.
Yeah, I mean,
and Jim Caviezel is someone you can definitely trust to do it justice.
Yeah.
Now he's gone, and we don't know who any of these people are.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
fair.
know. I'm guessing it's gonna be mostly Mel Gibson doing press for the movie.
I mean, he's
if
the
we're
most
trying to talk to an
recognizable-
American audience.
He's the most recognizable face that you'll see there anyways.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I would say, like, I would have again, conservative actors, and they do exist, get upset when they lose out on roles in Hollywood because people don't agree with, their beliefs. If the idea is to live your values, then you would hire her because theoretically, I wasn't there. Again, I wasn't there for the casting process either. She's the best for the role. That she does a fantastic job. She brings the character. She brings Mary to life on screen, and that ends up being a transcendent experience for people. That could be a great thing, and
This could be an example of separating art from the artist.
Well, also, they're in a really difficult position because they needed to recast the Blessed Virgin Mary since the first film came out 20 years ago, and so they need to find a woman who looks like the previous actress. That's a big ask.
Was it Monica Bellucci before? Was that who it was?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
I think they said
Can you look that up?
In the original.
Yeah, I believe it was. Right?
Yeah, I hope she converts through the process of working on the film.
Monica Bellucci, assuming that she was the one. I think she was Mary.
Oh no, it says someone named Maya
Who did
Morgans.
Monica Bellucci play?
I think that might have been Mary Magdalene.
Oh, okay. Well, see, there you go. Monica Bellucci
Right.
identifies as agnostic, and she was on the original project.
I mean, you can probably search through any of these actors' social media footprint and find something to object to. They're actors,
And then what
That's
you
not
have
surprising.
is like if you're basing it on their religious credentials, you get the ham-fisted religious movies of the 80s and the 90s, which don't change anyone's mind because they're not made well.
You're
Exactly.
not gonna
Yeah, that can
find
happen.
a full cast of qualified actors for a movie like this that are all Orthodox Catholics. It's just not realistic.
Yeah,
So I don't think that Mel Gibson needs to reverse the decision.
I don't either.
What needs to happen is that she should be prepared for questions about it.
I saw a really funny chat. Someone said they needed to vet the cast with holy water. Like,
Yeah,
if
just-
smoke starts coming out of you, you
It's like
cannot
a fog.
be
They
in
put
our
all
film.
the holy water in a fog machine and just like gas the whole set.
Let's go to super chats. Bloodbase says, "Does the world really need more Polish people?" Yes.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
it does.
That's rude.
Where's the hate coming from?
Yeah.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Wednesday, Brett, Mary, and Seamus.
How
To
you
the
doing?
crisis actors, help Seamus reach his goal. If you don't, he'll start a new crusade. I'm down, but are you?"
Actually, if I do reach the goal, I will start. A new
Yeah.
crusade. No, I can't say that. That's false advertising. But I think that would persuade more people to donate.
Corey Anderson said, "Shameless is better than tater salad. Meow."
Oof. Well, we got a culture war kid in there. Thank
shots
you.
thrown.
No shade to Tate.
We
He
love
was just
Tate.
busy this week. Corey Anderson said, "Culture War Kitten t-shirt. They're wanting the merch.
Yeah, I'm telling you, a mocha,
Give
Chloe.
the people what they
I might
want.
make it.
Yeah. Just depends on who does it faster. Corey Anderson said, Shamer, as a Christian, does Jesus support my burning hatred of Islam? Because I don't want to upset Big J.
Well,
Hashtag Christianity is the way. Hashtag bacon for Jesus?
so
Like baking or bacon
No,
like
bacon.
the food?
as I would refer to him with a more reverent title, but Jesus does, of course, want you to hate untruth. So yes, Islam as an evil belief system which teaches untruth should be hated. We talk about loving the sinner and hating the sin. Islam is not a person. It's not a group of people. Muslims are people. They're a group of people. But Islam as a religion, yes, you should hate it in the same way that you hate Satanism. Islam is fundamentally satanic. You should hate it as a belief system.
Just don't hate all Muslims.
Yeah, you
because
have to
they're
pity
Muslim.
them. You want because you know that they're operating with untruth. And of course, we talk in our country. We love talking about Islamophobia, which is just a smear word for anyone who criticizes Islam. But yes, well, of course, it's bad to have genuine hatred in your heart for any individual specific person. When it comes to a very evil, horrendous belief system, yeah, you should hate that. When it comes to a belief system which is founded and based on the teachings of a man who had a 9-year-old child bride, yeah, 100% you should hate that. You should 100%. In fact, there would be something wrong with not hating that.
All right. Let's hold off on the rest. We'll come back. Let's
Okay.
move on.
It might have been a while since you last heard about Tess Holliday. She's kind of an artifact of the pre-anti-woke vibe shift era. She was mostly becoming famous in the 2010s for being a plus-size model, which used to be this really interesting, unique thing. And then it was shoved down all of our throats. We collectively decided that we did not want to see obesity on magazine covers or in commercials. And Tess Holliday is likely out of a lot of job opportunities and crashing out on TikTok. She recently told the story to her followers that she got into a dispute with a flight attendant on a United flight with her son. She was with her 9-year-old son on the flight. So I'm going to explain the course of events before we get to her version of the story. She says she paused a movie she was watching with her son, went to the bathroom. I don't know how this woman is able to fit into a plain bathroom. That's actually shocking and impressive. But she made it in, and then her hip accidentally hit the flight attendant call button because she's large. And eventually that flight attendant came to the bathroom. Once she exited the bathroom, she told her, the flight attendant, no, everything's fine, just a mistake. And then she got roped into this conversation with the flight attendant, who was telling her about her, his sister, who is also, as she put it, very large, much like you, much like yourself. And his sister was forced to move to a different seat on a flight because she was in a middle seat, and it was not allowing enough space for the people next to her. And as Tess Holliday is hearing this story, she's like, get me out of here. Like, I don't want to hear about this. And it gets to a point where the flight attendant says, but I agree. I think that my sister should really lose the weight. It would be irresponsible for her not to lose the weight. It makes her life harder. And then this flight attendant says, you have a child. I mean, you should lose the weight too. So that's where we end up in the story. Before we go to Tess Holliday's words, let's go to her TikTok.
Yes.
And hear about how she was body shamed by the flight attendant.
At the 2-minute
Originally,
mark.
I
Yes,
wasn't going
it's
to.
at the middle of this video
Yeah,
here.
hold on. It's going to be like impossible to do this. Hold on.
Go into great detail about what happened to me, but given but you completely hit it off court, because then what he proceeded to tell me was that, but he did agree that she did need to lose weight, that she was very large, and that he saw I was traveling with my child, and that if I cared about my child, that I would do something, that I would lose the weight. I then told him that I work as a diversity and inclusivity consultant with brands to help them with issues like this, with folks being discriminated against, etc. He didn't even hear what I said, because then he flew past me and started talking about how he was in the military, how he had to eat the military meals. They were full of sodium. It made him feel unhealthy, and that his German wife, who weighs less than 100 pounds, bakes their bread from scratch and doesn't eat any of the processed crap in America. And that's why she is slender. I didn't really know what to say. I know a lot in the comments. Everybody's like, you should have said this. You should have done this. In the moment, I was trying to be polite because I'm traveling with who? My child. He then goes on to tell me that because of my size, I am kidding myself if I think that I don't need to lose weight, and that my main issue is in my belly region, because that is the killer, because all of the fat and the inflammation wraps around your organs, making it really difficult if they need to resuscitate you.
I'm hearing
which
nothing but facts.
Triggered for me, because a few days prior, I actually had to help when someone was incapacitated while their children were there, while I'm on the phone with 911, who was a larger bodied individual who was not able to be resuscitated on the scene. And it really...
Well, that proves
quite literally have been confronted with reality.
That's the thing, is every single thing part of why I'm laughing is like every single, it's like something out of a cartoon. This is like a comedy bit. Everything she's repeating this guy say that upset her is all true. Like, it's all true. You can disagree over whether it was polite for him to say that or whatever, but this is all factual information. Is this Tess Holliday? Is that?
Yes. She says it triggered me that he said that my belly fat could make me medically incapacitated, because just a few days before I saw that someone with a lot of belly fat wasn't able to be resuscitated. That triggered me.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, let's listen to the rest of her video here.
Messed with me. It messed with me. So I heard what he's saying, and I hear what you guys are thinking. Oh, logically, he was just being helpful. That's not the point. That's not the point. You don't say things like that to people. He said a myriad of other things.
So wait, this is somebody that didn't know her, right?
Yeah, it's a friend.
Yeah, no, like a random person should not come up to you.
I will say that she has a point that this guy, like, look, even if you're speaking nothing but facts, decorum is a thing, and
I probably don't want to get into a long, drawn-out conversation with anyone.
There is a very likelihood that, as annoying as she is, that guy was loved the opportunity to, dress her down and say this. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
Well, I'm just, well, that's the thing, right? I agree that if he didn't know her, it's bizarre to like go up to a stranger and explain to them everything that they need to do to fix their life. But what is kind of funny about this is the fact that, like, you would expect the kind of person to go up to a stranger in public and tell them that they're too fat would be kind of a belligerent a-hole. But everything he said is all like very calm, well-articulated facts, which is part of what makes it really funny.
He's telling the truth. And I see somebody in the chat says, where did I see this here? Basically saying like, James Higgins says, the truth is the truth, not sorry, she needs to lose weight. Again, that's not really the point here. It's not his place to do so. Just because something is true does not make it your place to do so in polite society. Your family, your friends, your loved ones, they're the ones who are failing them, not stranger number two. But at the same time, this guy is like... What is she supposed to do with this information? Is she supposed to appear like really, really excited to hear it, as if she hasn't heard all this stuff before? Deep down, this guy knows this lady has been told this stuff before. He doesn't believe that he's telling. In my opinion, he doesn't believe that he's telling her anything new.
Well, I just find it funny to juxtapose Tess Holliday, formerly known as Tess Munster, very unfortunate.
I didn't know that part.
Name to have at her size, but. Tess Holliday has postured for years as this, like, take no nonsense big bitch, and she's gonna stand on business and show everyone how freaking beautiful her roles are, and if you can't accept that, then you're just a bigot. And like, that's her persona on social media. Cut to real life, she's like, I didn't know what to say, I was just trying to be polite, and like, I felt awkward and I froze. So that's who all of these activists are in real life. They're just sniveling cowards. She wasn't able to even defend her decisions to this guy who's challenging her face to face.
Yeah. People in the chat like, can't take the truth, get the F out. Like that's a great sentiment, but that's not how like a society with like decorum works. It's just not. You don't go around saying everything that's on your mind all the time, and people hate that person. Even if that person is aligned with you on her being a fat slob, fine. But that's not how polite society works, and likely that person gets off on being able to go do it to people
Well,
he doesn't know.
it seems like this flight attendant might have a touch of the tism because he
Yes.
doesn't understand social decorum very well.
Which is not good because their job is to like interface with the public, so
Right.
they should be the tismless of,
Right, right.
of all. The pilot can have a touch of the tism. I don't know if I want the flight
now
attendant.
that I think about it, I think flight attendants do often go on power trips over irrelevant things. Like they are kind of like the cops of the sky.
Can you imagine you're on a flight and the flight attendant just starts going off on an overweight person about how they need to lose the weight? And like, but this is also really funny to me too, because like you mentioned, Mary, she couldn't defend herself against these facts, but also this is her telling us the story. I actually have some respect for her hearing like how clearly honest she's being. She didn't go like, this guy said I was too big and then I explained the science to him and everybody clapped, which is what I think a lot of people might have done. Yeah, but she's like very sober. She's like, he explained to me that the fat I have around my waist makes it difficult to resuscitate, and I did literally see that happen a week ago. I saw that happen to somebody, and it has me thinking, you're like, this is actually shockingly lucid.
Is the accept? Let me ask the chat. The people who are saying like this is okay. Is the baseline for this that it's fact and truth, or is the decorum not matter? Because when somebody comes out with their opinion about your political beliefs, if you're wearing some type of MAGA hat or something, and somebody comes up to you and tells you Trump's a Nazi, now is the fact that that's not true, is that the baseline that makes it unacceptable, or is it because they're being a dick in public? And it's not socially acceptable to just be a dick in public.
She continues to say that she spoke with United after the incident and that the company apologized to her for the situation. She told them, I didn't want the flight attendant fired.
She's being so polite about all this.
Yeah, I didn't want the flight attendant fired, and perhaps they could do some sensitivity training.
Well, she works as a DEI consultant, so she's all about the sensitivity training.
She proceeded to refer United to the National Association to Advance Fat Acceptance, which is a real thing, a nonprofit organization that is working to end discrimination based on body size per its website. So she wants this NGO to swoop in and give all of the staff of this airline intensive training on how to be nice to fat people. People have had enough of this shit. We don't need special accommodations for morbidly obese people on flights. No. Everyone agrees with this.
Pay
if you
the
need
extra money for your
seats,
seats, yes.
You pay for multiple seats. You don't get free seats.
Yep.
And I mean, there's just no patience left for this, and the consultant class, which Tess Holliday is admittedly a part of, is going to lose out on a lot of job opportunities as we continue returning to sanity about issues like this.
In the chat, they're like, speaking up is always acceptable. No, this is the hill I will die on. Like, the ability to look at something in public that annoys you and just keep it to yourself is what all of society's politeness is based on. Sometimes you just have to keep it to yourself.
To the people in the chat who are saying, like, you should speak up and tell the truth no matter what, like, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen, etc. Last time you saw a morbidly obese person in public, did you say anything to them?
Do you go up?
I doubt it.
Is it literally just because like you can factually look up and be like, they look like they're above the BMI level for obesity? That makes it fact that way. I can say it. Do you see somebody with a shitty haircut and you're like, hey, your haircut fucking sucks, bro? Like,
that's a choice.
It's a choice. Yeah.
Like, I doubt that all of you are truth warriors running up to every morbidly obese person in public and saying,
hey, fatty.
Hey, don't you care about your children?
What if they are, though?
Fair enough.
Well, I guess that would make them non-hypocrites.
You know what, though? I just have a hunch. I have a hunch that flight attendants deal with this subject matter a lot because I very often see posts from overweight people go viral where they're complaining about the fact that they don't fit on a seat on the airplane.
Yeah.
I feel like anywhere that involves sitting is an environment where obese people will clash with service workers.
Yeah.
Where
Or
they're
just,
like, what do you mean I have to buy 2 tickets?
Any
Or
confined spaces. Brandy Melville has gotten backlash for years at this point because their doorways are narrow.
I love the idea that they have to have like a special contractor come in to make like an obscenely narrow doorway.
And this other company called Aritzia has received a lot of backlash because they don't have normal fitting rooms in their stores for women. They don't have mirrors in the fitting rooms. You have to exit the fitting room every time that you try on an item and pose in front of a communal mirror with all the other women, which naturally lends to feeling pressured to buy things sooner than you would otherwise choose them. You're comparing yourself to the other women in the mirror. There are like the begrudging boyfriends and husbands sitting on the couch waiting for their wife to be done shopping. So yeah, I guess they need to consult with Tess Holliday about creating a more inclusive space.
All right.
David Lowe said Mary should be Princess Zelda for Halloween. I'm not a fan of that game, and I am not planning on dressing up as Princess Zelda. Sorry.
Are you gonna do a Halloween costume of some sort?
I don't know.
Is there like a place to go where you would wear it? Like, is there
I
something going on?
No, I didn't have any plans to go to a Halloween rager this year, so I don't really see why I should. But to be determined, I guess. Pat the plumber said an alien ate my chickens. Any advice, Seamus?
by the way, that's that may or may not be a reference to the pilot for Twisted Plots. that may or may not be a reference. Go to twistedplots.com, support at any level, watch our pilot, and find out.
Okay.
Corey Anderson said, sorry for the poor grammar, driving on 95 right now. Yeah, be careful with the super chatting while driving, guys. We don't want you to die just to send us money. You can pull over if you really want to send a super chat.
Or what you want to do is you just want to send the biggest super chat possible,
Right,
so you
just
can do
send
it
it in
all
bulk.
at once. That way you don't have to send multiple smaller super
Corey
chats.
Anderson said, Culture War kitten shirts can have Bucket, Panther, Toast, Chloe, and Mocha on it. Jessica, let's get a mock-up for it. Well, that would be stealing their likeness.
Yeah, if I decide to make that, we'll think about it.
Easy E said, I've spent time in China for work. I promise you these men are moonlighting to nap on couches as they clean because they can't afford rent. The Kens aren't being paid fairly?
Well, that's okay because men, they deserve this.
That is appalling.
There was a comment in that thread while you guys were talking about it. I got lost in this comment thread that was talking about culinary patriarchy.
What
it
the
was
hell
riveting.
is that?
Well, it's about the history of like the idea that, you know, cooks are women and chefs are men.
Well, that's true.
Yes, I know.
That's so funny.
I mean, you can say this about pretty much any craft or art or any skill. The people who are the most psychotically, insanely good at something tend to be men.
Yep.
Because they obsess over something and
That's
it's
right.
their thing. So yeah, like most Michelin star chefs out there are men because they're crazy.
After the, I don't know if you guys saw the scandal about the sports betting scandal with all the, was it the NFL? No, it was the NBA with all the people getting indicted on like gambling charges and stuff. And there was like a Babylon Bee tweet that said WNBA stars promise they just suck at basketball. They're not gambling.
I don't know. I
They're
saw
not
the
shaving
clips.
points. They just suck at basketball.
I saw the clips. It was pretty blatant.
That's really funny, honestly.
Look, see, this is my thought though. Given, I know the Dodgers are getting their ass kicked right now in the World Series, but Shohei Ohtani should be allowed to gamble on himself as long as he's only gambling to win because he is so good at baseball.
But wouldn't that mess up the incentive structures for a lot of foul play?
I'm saying, like, if he's not shaving points, he's saying, like, I play to win, I bet to win.
Yeah,
like,
but easily one of those athletes could agree with someone on the opposing team, like, if I bet on myself and win, I'll give you a cut. So then the opposite team is incentivized to help him win.
I mean, it'd be so much easier.
Like,
to
it's
find
obvious
that
could
type of
happen.
coordination would be more easily caught than somebody who just says, "I'm going to play to win and I'm going to bet on myself." Pete Rose should wait. Did they reverse course on Pete Rose? Is Pete Rose allowed in the Hall of Fame? Because Pete Rose should be allowed in the Hall of Fame because all they do now in baseball is say, "This segment sponsored by FanDuel. This segment sponsored by gambling site 123, DraftKings, everything."
Etc. Username I'm not going to read said women become incels and act like it's an accomplishment. Well, they're not incels. They're vol-cells. They're voluntarily celibate. So.
Yeah, women
going their own way.
Can't be
Right.
incels. Women have to be voluntarily.
Right.
Because being an incel requires institutional power.
Easy E said you
Oh
also...
wait, the series is tied 2-2. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, they got their ass kicked yesterday though, right? I know the 18-inning game was incredible. I followed it on John Boy, but I couldn't. I'm not going to watch a 6-hour and 50-minute baseball game.
Easy E said you also can't hold China's gender issues to Western standards. Masculinity, as we see it, doesn't exist in a state where standing up for anything can get you disappeared. It's a selective filter. That's a good point. Yeah.
Let's hold off on the rest. Let's come back.
Okay, so I've seen heated debate on social media about how scary one ought to make their Halloween decorations. And there is a certain point where you cross the line. It used to just be jack-o'-lanterns, ghosts made of bed sheets, some mums, like corn husks, very simple stuff. And now people have taken Halloween decorations to a point that I believe is downright sociopathic.
Yeah.
Like, they get a sick thrill out of terrifying children when that was never the point. Like, scaring the children is not the point. They're supposed to actually be able to come up to your door and trick or treat and not cower in their mother's skirt.
Yes.
It's gotten to the point where basically childless Redditors have co-opted this holiday and made it their opportunity to laugh in the faces of children who are trying to enjoy it with their parents. And it's just ruining the spirit of the
product of a society that's having less and less children and
That's
people
right.
with,
Yes.
that's what happens when dinks start running everything.
I mean, trick-or-treating is sort of becoming a thing of the past already, as
Trunk or treat is horrible.
Trunk or treat is eclipsing it.
Trunk or treat?
Trunk or treat is like the they don't want you going house to house, so they have a bunch of people go into like the town square and give out candy.
We have a
Man.
20 from Corey Anderson. You're right, Mary. Let's ask their mother for permission. Olivia, can we make a Culture War kitten shirt with Bucket, Panther, Mocha, Chloe, and Toast on it? Maybe it can be a crossover, and Shame Daddy can draw the kitties.
Well, we can't have we technically can't get permission for Bucket and Dusty because we don't own
Yes.
Bucket and Dusty. But Olivia did send me a text. She said, "Ask Seamus if I can make one shirt with Nepo cats and pop culture kittens, just one for myself." Well, we could do that.
Yeah,
We
we're
have
going to
somebody
need to
drive
go
the
through
cats.
negotiations on that.
Yep.
So this has prompted an op-ed by one mother who identifies as a Karen, saying that she is a Halloween prude, and people have taken Halloween decorations way too far to traumatize children. She says that, sometimes it's okay for kids to experience fear and it's fun. Grimm's fairy tales were full of dismemberment and eating organs with all kinds of moral warnings for children. And those are important life lessons. But as a self-confessed, over-imaginative child who was traumatized watching Return to Oz with a creepy woman who collects other women's heads to wear them interchangeably with her own, like a hat collection, there's no putting the genie back in the bottle when kids get scary images in their heads.
It's true.
So I think that we should just go through some examples of these outrageous decorations and give our verdict on it. This is the first one I saw. This is mechanical.
It's like insane. It's insane. That's an insane thing to put out in public. That's so crazy.
The sound effects is crazy.
I know. I heard them when I.
And he's got his guts hanging out.
So nasty, dude.
I mean, no kid is gonna approach your house.
Bro, that guy's got an American flag.
Like,
As
is that
Tate
the
would
goal?
say, that guy's a patriot.
Is that the goal for, like, you don't have to give out any candy that year?
Yeah, they're just cheap. They don't want to.
They don't wanna- yeah.
Or you know what it is? They're like, you know what? I support meritocracy, and if you can make it past the dismembered man being electrocuted, then you can have some candy.
This is now
Well, we're just so desensitized towards violence too. We see so much gross stuff on television and in media that like that doesn't shock us that much as adults, but like that could traumatize a kid.
I think my favorite is like I'm not a huge fan of horror movies. It's never been my thing, but you don't realize how important the music and being immersed in the movie is to the what makes it scary. Very often around this time of year, whether it be on Instagram or on X, I'm scrolling through something and I'm seeing some brutal decapitation from a movie that's being shared by somebody like, by the way, my favorite scene from this movie, and it's just somebody's head getting chopped off, and it looks funny because you're just scrolling by it while music plays in the background, as opposed to the sound effects, the creepy music, all of the tension that's built up right before it happens.
Well, this has prompted a movement to make Halloween scary again, because a lot of these people believe that Halloween got soft and they need to make it hardcore. And they're investing, it looks like, thousands of dollars into these hyper-realistic lawn decorations like this. I mean, this was insane. This is beyond the height of this person's house. You have to turn off the sound here because it's copyrighted. But this is like The Walking Dead, and of course, the dismembered body. We have life-sized Jack Skellington looking down at the children. There's just a levitating body. We've got more corpses. This is just scratching the surface of what I've seen over the past few days.
Yeah, and like some of these I think are really disgusting and in bad taste. Some of these are actually pretty creative. I feel like they don't all belong in the same category.
There's it looking out from the garage door.
Like that one doesn't freak me out. I feel like the Jack Skellington one also, I don't think that would like terrify a kid too much. I don't know. Some of this does not seem like a big deal to me.
I would be terrified.
Well, maybe.
I remember, like, it wasn't the norm at the time, but when I was trick-or-treating, there was this one house I refused to go up to because they had animatronic zombies that flipped up at you with a motion sensor from their coffin.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not appropriate for kids. It's just not. And I think that they're hijacking the holiday for their own amusement, and they like seeing the fear on children's faces.
I wish I
got
had
like an animatronic giant spider walking down a spider web in that one. And this other guy, he created a fake house fire.
Yeah, this one is absolutely insane.
As his Halloween decoration. Just like smoke billowing out of the windows and a fake.
That feels really dangerous.
Play the video, Brett.
What?
It's
out there.
And people started calling the fire department on this guy because they believed that it was real.
I can't find the video.
I'll just be honest. I think making people think your house is on fire on Halloween is a really bad idea, because someone could actually have a house fire on Halloween, and then people would be like, "Oh, well, it's just decorations."
People are
I think
just
that's
going
probably
too
a bad
far with
idea.
it. I can't imagine the power bill that you're gonna get at the end of October.
Okay, it was the first thing that came up. I meant to send this to myself earlier, and I was like looking back to who I might have sent it to, and I couldn't find it. But luckily, this video is blown up so much that it's like right there. I have to play this for you guys because this guy has the absolute right take on it. I'm gonna send it to you and then open it. But this guy knows exactly what's going on, because I have the same question for everybody after I saw this.
Okay.
Hold on, there it is. Here we go.
These Halloween decorations the rest of the year.
Oh, hold on. There we go. No, it is. It's on the. Hold on. Yeah, it's on screen.
I can't be the only one thinking this. When I was a kid, for Halloween, you'd put like a decal of a witch on your window, or you'd use the fun jack-o'-lantern bags for your leaves. Now it seems like every house that I pass, they got Warner Brothers budget. It's like they rented props from the Beetlejuice set. Everyone's complaining about inflation and the price of eggs, but Home Depot can't keep these fucking 40-foot skeletons on the shelves. Where are people even getting this stuff? A vintage hearse? Does Carvana even sell that? And most of the decorations that I see can't fit in people's attics or basements or garages. So they're literally just renting storage units for Frankenstein? Diane, what the hell is this bill for $2,800? Oh, I needed another storage unit for the coffins and the Wolfman. Where are people keeping these Halloween decorations the rest of the year?
Yeah, that's
a
really
good question, actually.
Where are they stored at?
And it's funny because I'm seeing people in chat say like, "Oh, well, part of Halloween is kids getting scared," and that's true. But some of it clearly goes too far. You get to a point where you're like, that's just gross. And I think a good point was made in that article about the fact that your imagination is essentially a glue trap, and once something's in there, you can't get it out.
And it's the dinks. It's the dual income, no kids, adults who are doing this to their lawns. No one with a family would have the time or the income.
You can do it for Christmas because Christmas is a family holiday.
Psychopathy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there were other people that I saw like ruining the spirit of Halloween in other ways. I came across a Pfizer vaccine facility display in this person's lawn. Do you have that?
I have this one here.
From
2, 3.
Not that one. It's the Pfizer one. Is not that one. Is it the next one? It was the Chris Van Swol. This one. Yes. Here we go. That music's gonna get us copyrighted.
It's Pfizer vaccine tents with skeletons in COVID masks.
That's really funny, dude.
Like, are we really doing this in 2025?
Or you know what? Maybe there's a lot of, Hollywood prop masters out there. Maybe that's just these people's houses. Maybe every one of these is owned by a Hollywood prop master.
Here's another person totally killing the vibe. They're saying that it's wrong to use the stretchy fake spider web decorations. They may seem fun. You wanted your house to look spooky, so you draped this sticky fake web over the bushes I use for berries. I didn't see it as I flew by. It's not a decoration, it's a snare, and now your display is my struggle.
Never mind. Put up the huge decorations. This person has radicalized me on
You're
this.
killing the vibe.
You're killing the vibe.
People just cannot be normal about Halloween these days.
Nope.
And there are, on the other hand, a bunch of Christians who are saying that it's a satanic holiday and like you can't celebrate Halloween if you're Christian. It's just
that's
tiresome.
And then there is the absolute scariest decoration for any adult out there.
That's actually too much. Yeah.
We have a jump scare in this next post. The Slack-a-lantern.
Okay, I'm calling this the Slack-a-lantern, which is specifically designed to terrify my neighbors who work in tech.
Actually.
They'll be
that's really
walking
funny.
by thinking they're done for the day, and then, bam,
that's really funny, dude.
they're back on their phones. It's got a
you're in America. No work-life balance.
motion sensor up here. It's got a little speaker hiding over here, and I don't know about you guys, but this really gets the dread going for me.
Now, so this is now a Microsoft Teams call. That's the real scary one. There's nothing scarier than Microsoft Teams.
Yeah. But my final take is that I think that Protestants who hate Halloween are ruining the vibe with trunk or treats. Redditors are ruining Halloween by trying to exclude children from it.
Can we keep the decorations lower than house height?
Yeah.
Like if you can keep the decorations lower than the top of the house.
In this economy, like you're putting up a gigantic zombie statue and you're powering it.
I mean, to be fair, they're not
all
the people.
month.
As long as that person isn't the one complaining about the economy, I guess I can't. I don't care.
I'm not even saying that it's like wrong. I'm just like wondering like how is that practically possible?
Yeah, they maybe they budget all year for like the power supply.
It's such an eyesore. I would be such an HOA Karen if someone put that up in my neighborhood.
So where we live, up on the top of the hill, we're at the top of one hill, and then you have to go over a block and then up another hill if like you want to get into downtown. And there's like this row of houses that I love it for them because they all love Halloween. So you go down this one block and every house is just decked out in Halloween garb. And I kind of love it for them because it just seems like all the neighbors got into it and started one-upping each other. Now, it's not on the level of anything we just saw here. It's much more neighborhood appropriate and probably more corporate. Like it's a lot of like character. It was like a lot of this stuff was pretty unique. It's like the guy's like, a vintage hearse? Where do you get that? Like it's like the ones that I have. It's like 7 foot tall Michael Myers scarecrow or 7 foot tall Ghostface next to him and stuff like that. Characters you know and understand.
I want to start a different movement. Make Halloween fun again and bring back trick or treating. Like, that's the bare minimum.
You go out with the pillowcase.
I agree on that. That is very sad.
The kids of today aren't going to remember trick-or-treating. They're going to be at lame trunk-or-treats at their church.
I have a problem with Halloween in one case, which is that, like, unlike Tess Holliday, I'm trying to watch my weight, and like the candy in the house becomes a problem because I buy the candy that I consume, I buy in like small increments so that I can only have a little bit at a time. I don't surplus it so that I can end up, failing myself and overeating. But now we've got the extra candy in the house because we got to give it out for trick or treat. And, that's I'm not a dad yet, but I guess that's my own version of the dad tax.
We're going to see so many rage bait videos of kids stealing from the bowls that are left on the porch this year.
Ring camera videos.
We have a 20 from Pop Culture Junkie. The decorations have gotten out of hand when they can be viewed from space. Yeah, like this is going to end up on Google Earth. It's too much, guys. That's my take.
All right.
Let's finish up these super chats. Rural Conservative said, alpha culture kittens, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, eat the cat, eat the cat.
That's right. That's why I'm so glad myself and my culture kitten army were able to get Trump elected so that the leftists who were feeding cats to Haitians were not able to take power in this country.
Potatoes for Seamus. Oh.
Put a girl on.
Vintage Crisis sound.
Particularly with the bass boost.
You just gave that to them for free.
If they're wondering, that's the overly 15 digital boost version that we used to have to play in the studio so that you could actually hear it. So if I blew out any of your eardrums, deal with it. That's what we have to do every time we get a crisis party.
For a second. Potatoes for Seamus said, Seamus, so glad you're here to give us our daily spoon. Forgive us as we steal books now.
Spoon.
Did you ever take Miracle to Waffle House Luke Rules?
Firstly, I would never do that. Secondly, I'm pretty sure we did all go to Waffle House after that because she never had been. Yeah, that's a throwback.
Okay.
That's a throwback to we did when we would do the vlog.
Yeah.
And Miracle had never been to Waffle House. I was like, all right, well, we all have to go to Waffle House.
I think the first time I went to Waffle House out here was I got a burger and everybody looked at me funny.
That's weird.
Yeah.
You don't get a burger at Waffle House. That's messed up.
I was like, it's
not called Burger House,
It's
Brad.
like it's 2 in the morning. I don't want waffles.
What is wrong with you? Shane H. Wilder said there were members of the original Passion that came into the faith because of the movie. So let's see what happens. I'll still see the new one.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm still open to supporting it regardless.
Somebody in the chat said bass boost and then put a heart. Do they just particularly like stuff with bass? Thank you.
It adds to the beat. Easy E said, I was also in Poland for work. This woman is not, where have you not been for work? This woman is not representative of Polish women. I took one to dinner. I paid the bill and her eyes lit up. They hate feminism with a passion. I think about her often.
Bass?
Well, why didn't you guys end up together? What happened? What went wrong?
There's a rumble rant here from what is this? Hold on. It's like Tomuhawk, like Tomuhawk, like Tomuhawk says that seems kind of like a virtue signal. I'd like my actor spotless, but I don't know. When has Mel Gibson made a bad movie? He says, "Love you guys, love the movies, love his movies." Yeah.
I don't think it's fair to expect that the entire cast is comprised of faithful, devout Catholics.
Yeah.
It wasn't the case the first time around, and it's not going to be the case the next time. And my main concern is just like, how is she going to respond if she's asked about it later on?
It is funny how you guys kind of got onto that discussion earlier about like people not being able to separate the art from the artist. Because how often do you watch like an interview with like actors talking about other actors and they get to talking about whoever the actor is playing the bad guy and like, oh, he's the nicest guy in the world. He's nothing like his character.
Well, Mel Gibson has his own fair share of controversies, and I can separate art from the artist on that too.
Yep.
We have a 20 from Pop Culture Junkie. Last week, Barbara Gips, a tagline writer responsible for many iconic movie taglines, including "In Space, No One Can Hear You Scream," passed away at 89. Met her at a convention in 1992. World-class wordsmith. Rest in peace.
There seems like something correspondingly terrifying about being responsible for something that's like just a couple of words. Like you have to come.
That's a very unique job.
Like you have to come up with something catchy, and it can only be like 7 words long. They got a free crisis party out of this.
What would be your movie tagline? Suffer in silence and die young.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what mine would be. Do I have a catchphrase or anything? She's a wicked witch who belongs in hell.
I'm not reading that.
I'm not reading
She's
that.
not reading that.
Yeah. Yeah. Potatoes for Seamus said Seamus needs to watch The People's Joker with Luke. Are we bringing back The People's Joker? No. I don't know if that's really the vibe anymore. We never had Luke on the show, right?
No, I don't think so.
That never happened.
He was here. Well, I mean, not
he was around at certain points.
But, yeah.
I doubt he wowould have done it. He's super political brained. Stefan Buttle said Spoon Man. Oh, I'll wait till he's back to ask him that. Tay said getting my afro cut by whites. Hashtag no racial LFG.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know what to make of that.
Like,
Robert,
is there like, are you saying like you specifically went to like a white guy to cut your hair?
I guess.
Okay.
Robert Delara said, "Hi, Mary. You always have really good insights. Have you ever thought about writing a book someday? And if so, what would the subject you would like to write? What would be the subject you would like to write about?" Yeah, I've thought about it. I think that's not imminently in the pipeline, but my idea
harder
that I
to sell
had
because
was,
you're younger.
No,
like it would
not
be easier to
necessarily.
sell.
Not necessarily. My idea was, you know what? In case I actually embark on writing a book, I'm not even going to tell you what it is.
There you go. Hold on to it.
There's a question for you, Seamus, from Stefan Buttle.
Yeah.
Spoonman, will there be free will for humans in heaven once we are reunited with God?
That is a great question. So, I am not a theologian. Take everything I'm about to say with a grain of salt. I have like no formal theological training. But what we as Americans tend to think of freedom as a political term. Freedom is essentially when the government allows for you to choose between two different options. But what freedom actually means is the ability to choose the good. Let me make a very rough, imprecise analogy for you. If I'm a virtuous person, I'm in great shape, I exercise every single day. If I want to have a cheat day every now and again, right, I'm kind of free. Like, I'm free to choose to do that good thing. I'm also free, in moderation, right, to say, you know what, today I'm going to take a cheat day, I'm not going to go to the gym. If I never go to the gym, if I'm sitting on the couch eating donuts, if that's my day-to-day, how likely is it that I'm like actually free to say I'm going to go to the gym? It's a lot harder for me because of the habits that I've built up. Internal freedom is not just a question of, am I literally able to do X or Y? It's, am I actually capable of exerting the will necessary in order to make that choice, in order to choose the good? And again, sometimes relaxing, having a day off is good. It's a question of, have I built up the virtue to be able to be free, or am I in vice and therefore incapable of actually making the decision? In heaven, because we're united with God, we will be as perfectly free as you possibly could be, and God is perfect. So you will choose God. It's not like there's the option that you will fall away from heaven, because again, freedom is to do the good.
Yeah, that's well said. The runner is freer to relax and eat donuts than the Tess Holliday is to go on a 5K.
But that's, and by the way,
tastes like freedom.
I'm a cartoonist, right? That's my rough understanding of it. If you want a better way to understand that, I would ask a theologian about that, or someone who's formally trained in this stuff.
Shane H. Wilder said, "What I'm hearing is some people don't like truth." The Tess Holliday.
Yeah,
segment.
Brett.
Some people don't like truth.
Deal with it.
Yeah. Well, you're wrong about this. Yes, people don't like truth, but
It
that's
depends
not the
on
only
who's
thing that
delivering the
matters.
truth and how they're delivering the truth. The DJ Foy said, "Seamus, looking forward."
Okay, maybe my issue is like they're cloaking the truth in a desire to be mean.
Or
Okay.
I get what you mean.
They're not doing it to be truthful. They don't give a fuck if Tess Holliday loses weight or dies at a young age. They're doing it because they want to be dickheads.
I care.
So here's my thing about that. We also can't give them a bad faith interpretation, because even though I'm memeing here, but I tend to agree, Brett, it's pretty inappropriate to just go up to someone and list off a bunch of things that they're doing wrong. I will still say that by her own admission, they weren't going up to her and going like, "Oh, you're such a fat," and cussing her out. They were like actually saying practical and true
it was
things
thoughtful.
about, so I don't know that even if what they did was impolite, I don't know that I agree that they were just trying to be mean to her.
Yeah.
But I'm not talking. Not even them. I'm talking about the people who are like defending it as like, no, you just got to speak truth all the time. And it's like,
But
yeah,
let
is that what you want?
ask.
Or
I
is
know what you mean.
want
When
to
you're
be?
in public and you see a fat person walk by, do you just scream at them like, "Fat, lose weight"? Like,
Yeah,
I don't
that's-
think you do.
no.
I just don't think you
I've
do.
actually seen both of you do that.
Yeah.
I've
Well,
seen both of them do that at different points in time, so they're trying to cover for themselves. I don't do that. You know me. You know I would never do that.
I've
seen both of them.
I come into work sometimes. Mira's like, wow, putting on a little weight, huh?
You know what? I'm not going to respond to these allegations.
But Brett, where I definitely agree with you is what you're describing is a real thing. There are certain people who will just be very, very rude, and then they'll go, "Listen, I'm just telling the truth here."
Yeah.
And so I get it.
Yeah.
That's also on the other end of the spectrum.
The DJ Foy said, Seamus, looking forward to the new project. Much luck, and I don't know if I even want to say this, if this is like a euphemism for something, to you and your team.
Well, thank you so much. God bless you. I really hope you enjoy it. If you haven't already, go to twistedplots.com and you'll be able to watch the entire first episode if you're excited about the show.
High Voltage 75 said, I bet she had more than her share of plain snacks. Yes, this is why
Pretzels?
I am against the free pretzels on the plane. You can
You think
go.
that's causing the obesity epidemic?
You can go 2 hours without having a little snacky poo,
Look,
okay?
you eat a couple of plain pretzels, and before long, you're Tess Holliday.
It adds up, guys. High Voltage, Burnt Oils said Mary has a mini mohawk with those loose hair at top. Do I have like sprouts on my head? I'm confused. Shane H. Wilder said, you don't always have to speak up, but fatties are always complaining on planes. I'm normal sized and I hate the little leg room, but don't complain. Yeah, I guess if she were like complaining to the flight attendant about not having enough space, it would be more called for him to have this conversation with her. But
And we don't know how this started. So
I understand
that's
where
possible.
Brett's coming from. I mean, it started because her fat ass hit the call button on accident. That's why it happened.
Oh, is that what she said? She
Yeah.
accidentally hit the call button?
Yes, because she can't fit in the bathroom. So, I mean, look, the guy probably thought that she needed an intervention moment.
Honestly, I'm sympathizing with him more and more in light of that information. If she couldn't fit, if she couldn't fit through to go to the bathroom, that's pretty rough.
Somehow was able to close the door, though.
Yeah.
Easy E said airline staff politeness is for business class.
Yeah.
They are quite rude.
If she was in first class, he'd be
days.
like beautiful at any size.
Wait, didn't they say?
Right.
Didn't she say she was first class?
Did she?
I imagine Tess Holliday.
Tess Holliday,
She's
does
part
she
of
get
the
paid
laptop
enough from
class.
her consultant jobs
she
to
probably-
end up in first class?
She probably does.
E7Z45 said Chinese Kens are actually just hobosexuals. They're
Yeah.
attracted to hobos?
No,
I think that means,
homosexual is like
yeah.
when you get into a relationship, so you don't have to like. It's like you break up with your girlfriend, and all of a sudden, like you don't have a place to live, so you find a new girlfriend, so that you don't have to find your own place.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
That's
I
sort of
got
what
it
I
now.
inferred. Yeah, like they just date to live
I've
somewhere.
never heard that term before.
Yep.
That's funny.
Hobosexual.
Dingus Khan of Gongolia said, how do you guys feel about churches doing trunk or treat? Boo! No one likes trunk or treat. No, it's lame.
Listen, I understand them wanting to do it if the kids have no other option, but I tend to agree that's not as fun as trick or treating.
No.
And I get it because we are in a lower trust society than ever
Yeah.
before, and parents are going to be afraid to let their kid go door to door. Completely get that. It's just sad. This is what they took from us. Return to tradition.
Well,
That's how I feel.
Brett told me he used to trick or treat without his parents, and I'm like, I never once went trick or treating without my parents following behind me.
A real alpha male culture war kitten goes trick or treating with his parents.
Like I told my my parents
be
wanted to
clear.
come with. I told them no, they can't. That's what happened.
Not that John Stewart said, hello, Overlord, Empress, and Spoonman. About to start the stream. Just woke up. Welcome.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Yes. The Rumbling said, as two Christians on the panel, why shouldn't we support Israel? In the Bible, in both Deuteronomy and Genesis, Israel should be blessed and protected. I mean, Istanbul was once Constantinople.
I'm so glad
Well-
that this doesn't include me.
So, yeah.
I'm not.
Again, I'm not a theologian. I'm not formally trained. In Galatians, Paul refers to the Israel of God. We as Catholics believe that the church is the new Israel. So all of the blessings that God gave to Israel, these are blessings and protections God has given to the church. Because think about it. As Christians, we believe that God became incarnate, and that was Jesus Christ. And those who accepted Jesus Christ continued in the covenant with God, which expanded to the Gentiles, etc. And those who didn't are not the chosen people of God in the same way that Abraham initially was, because we believe it's continued. It's not to say the Jews didn't play a special role and don't play a special role, because we believe they're going to convert before the end of time. But the church, the Catholic Church, is the new Israel. So that's why when people say, oh, well, as a Christian, you have to support Israel because the Bible talks about Israel, that's dispensationalism. That's not something that we believe in. So you can make political arguments for or against supporting the state of Israel, but the theological ones don't
Falls
work.
flat. Yeah. Christians are the chosen people. The temple has been destroyed. And the kingdom of God is the kingdom of heaven. So that's what we believe.
Yeah, free Pakistan or something.
Free Pakistan. Miss Mary said the people with skeletons big as their house better never complain about the price of eggs. Just saying.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like, as long as they're not the ones complaining about the economy, I guess I can't care.
Shane H. Wilder said, I played a killer clown at a haunted house once. It's fine for haunted houses to be scary, but some of these go beyond what our haunted house did. Yeah, I think they just like scaring children.
Every time an old person dies in the haunted house, they write it up on the wall as like, yes, badge of honor.
Well, also, a haunted house is something you enter at your own risk. I find something here really ironic. And by the way, I don't think this is an argument that people in this chat would make who are disagreeing with us on the Halloween decorations, but I find it strange that if you put like a manger or a creche out in public, people go, oh, you're forcing Christianity onto me when you're doing that during the Christmas season. Yeah. But then when it comes to Halloween, people can put the most grotesque decorations imaginable up. And it's like, well, it's just the season.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Corey Anderson said Halloween is supposed to be spoopy. Oh, I can't stand people who say spoopy.
Is that a thing? What does that mean?
Yeah, the millennials, they just love saying spoopy.
An alpha male on occasion can drop a well-placed ironic spoopy, but generally it's generally verboten.
Haunted
houses.
Looks
like spoppy.
Well, he misspelled it. Haunted because he's driving. Haunted houses and scary movies.
Stop texting and driving, guys.
Haunted houses and scary movies and all the things I remember from my childhood. It is all good fun.
Okay.
It was all good fun back then.
There was something unbelievably profound in the chat. It said, fun is millennial coded.
Whoa.
Like,
they ruined fun.
Maybe because like that's all they want is fun and
it's true.
Free will. So it's like now Gen Z's like, oh, let's go out and chill. Let's go have fun. They're like, I don't know, bro.
Millennials gentrified the entire concept of fun.
Of fun, they stole it.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna start being like those Chinese citizens who just work 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. and die before long.
We have a 20 from Gordon Shumway. My favorite trick-or-treat phobia was to be careful of candy laced with drugs. Now, as an adult, you wonder, why would someone spend all of that money to get some random kid high? Drugs are expensive, not in this economy.
You know what, though? There's some freaky people out there, bro.
Yeah. There
are like a couple of cases that were very isolated incidents, but it was usually actually the kid's parent that did it. Not strangers.
What do you mean?
Like the razor and the apple, I believe, that came from a story about a father who was doing that to his own kid. Not a stranger.
Between that and the AIDS needle in the phone booth, I just...
Like, we're not eating homemade taffy when we're trick-or-treating, but like, come on. I think that the parents just wanted to check the candy so they could take some for themselves.
Well, yeah, that's the dad
RFK
tax.
is like, they're putting razors and apples.
Right,
the FDA needs to...
Corey Anderson said, are you a fan of the all-out Christmas decorations? It depends.
Yeah.
Some people even make the Christmas decorations distasteful. I am not in favor of the big blow-up stuff in the lawn. It's just like, it's gauche, okay? It's distasteful.
I love it when they decorate the house for the holidays. I do.
The blow-up stuff that you get from Home Depot is just ugly.
You know what? This is a point my wonderful wife made, but so I can't plagiarize it. I got to give her credit. She was like, Halloween was the dad holiday and Christmas was the mom holiday. And I think that's how it is in a lot of places. I think the Halloween, like I said, I think some of that stuff is gross and overboard, but I think part of why Halloween is fun for kids is it's like time to spend with their dad. And then Christmas more tends to be like, we have to get everything really clean and perfect and well decorated. So I totally understand that. I always loved Christmas more, but listen, Halloween was a lot of fun. And I agree. People should not, like, give the season some breathing room. We don't need Christmas decorations up in October. It's crazy.
And men, take this as a lesson that even if Christmas is the mother holiday, the mom holiday, it's still your job to put the lights up outside. So
Yes.
it's it doesn't really matter.
It's a man's job.
Or else she'll have to hire a Ken to put the lights up outside the house. It's going to be awful.
Olivia is very much very big on decorating at Christmas, and like as soon as we were done with Thanksgiving dinner last year, we were putting up Christmas decorations. We were.
Thanksgiving, like post Thanksgiving, you're allowed to put up Christmas decorations. That's
right.
But I think part of that
I agree.
For the ladies is if you're like my wife and you love the Hobby Lobby, then you know that there's Christmas stuff on sale all year round. So it's basically always Christmas.
going in the storage unit.
Yeah, exactly.
Shane H. Wilder said, true story, last year a house near my parish painted a pentagram in their yard and put up demons. Some of us may have thrown holy water balloons at it.
Based.
Are we allowed to do that?
Yeah, I don't know about the balloon part. I don't know about the balloon part. That might not be based.
That's kind of
But
awesome.
but the holy water part, that's based. And yeah, that's super gross. Yeah, I hate
What
that.
is wrong with people? Corey Anderson said, Seamus, what do you want for Christmas?
I want to get Twisted Plots fully funded. So if you guys go over to twistedplots.com, listen, we're just a bit over halfway in terms of our timeline. We've got about 2 weeks left now, a little more than that, and we're over 50% funded. Go over to twistedplots.com. Help get us the rest of the way.
There's Seamus's Christmas wish.
That's my Christmas wish.
Corey Anderson said, can you ask Tim if we can get a PCC skateboard?
I want PCC sparkling water. I want my own water. That's what I want. Now that
it's not about
You
what
sound like a diva right now.
It's not always what you want.
Yes, it is.
Brett.
If it's a PCC, if it's PCC, then I get a say in this, and I want
It
sparkling
might
water.
be cool to have the TV logo on a skateboard, though. That might be cool. But you don't skateboard, and I don't skateboard, so
sparkling water. Let's get
yeah.
it.
High Voltage 75 said, you're not alone, Brett. First time I went to Waffle House, I got a patty melt. Ew.
And everybody looked at you funny. They're
You know
like, who brought the new guy?
Freak that ordered a patty melt.
In Brett's defense, a good like 1 in 4 to 1 in 5 times that I go to Waffle House, I feel like I do get the burger.
Yeah.
You know, I usually get the waffles. Listen, normally I get the breakfast food, but every now and again you're like, I want a burger.
It's the hash brown bowl or nothing.
Now I don't even get.
Listen,
I will get that, but the other one that I get now, I don't even get the burger. I get the bacon grilled cheese. It's grilled cheese and bacon.
Just, I mean, I don't understand
It's delicious.
people like you.
That's okay.
But yeah, it has to be a waffle or hash brown bowl. Corey Anderson said, are they going to be stealing all the candy on Halloween because EBT is going away the next day? Seamus heard you got married. Congratulations.
Everybody's worried about their wives going to Walmart, but it's actually your kids going trick-or-treating, getting bowled over as the candy, as they take your thing of candy.
It's true.
Stop them!
Society is going all
Look,
topsy-turvy.
like they said with Snickers, when you're hungry, you're not yourself.
That's right.
Corey Anderson said, Mary, you are a good person. I want to be a better person because of how you live your life. Thanks for never giving in. I'm not a simp, just a fan.
That's very sweet.
You know, I know Corey better than you do. That's why I laugh. So, but yeah, thanks. Stefan Buttle said, Spoon Man, what's to stop another rebellion in heaven? Do the angels have a different free will than humans when we get there?
So, firstly, I don't know what the Spoon Man thing, I don't know what that refers to.
Yeah, that's a weird thing.
You know me, you know I would never do that. As far as that goes, so here's, again, not a theologian here, no formal theological training. I'm going to answer as best as I can, but take this with a grain of salt. My understanding here is that when angels make a decision, it's different because as humans right now, on this side, we exist in time. So so we can change our minds on things from time to time. When an angel makes a decision or when they made that initial decision, it's completely fixed.
Right.
So they're eternal. But even angels, I don't think are eternal in the same way God is. To him, every moment is present all at once. That's my understanding. And I don't know that angels rise to that level, but I do know that their will is essentially fixed wherever they are.
Right. So any of the angels who were going to rebel in the first place already rebelled.
Yeah.
Corey Anderson said, need to start over for Not That Jon Stewart.
Yeah, we can start the show
What
over.
is
So,
that?
guys, it is episode 945 of Pop Culture Crisis.
Here
My
we
name
go.
is
We're
Brett.
going to be here all night. Potatoes for Seamus said, Seamus, what is one piece of advice you live by?
What is one piece of advice you live by, Seamus? We'll wait till after the song.
Always dance to the crisis party. That's mine. Okay. You had some time to think about that one.
Yeah, so first of all, never say spoopy. That's a little piece of advice that I got from Mary at one point in time. It's funny because there definitely is advice that fits into that category that it would just be, it's just difficult at the moment to come up with any specific line of advice. One bit of advice I got ages ago that's really helped me in my career is that finished is better than perfect. So if you're working on a project and you're like agonizing over something not being completely perfect, it's just better to get it finished than to have everything be exactly the way that you want it. And perfectionism really is not a virtue. You want things to be good, but you don't want, your perfectionism or vision for the product you're making to actually hinder the production of it, because ultimately these things are supposed to be incarnate. We're supposed to actually make things. And if you're not making it because it can't reach your perfect ideal, then it just exists in your head. It's not real.
Yeah, for me, I think one of the hardest things is like when you have a real idea of what you want something to look like at the beginning, sometimes getting started is the hardest part because, the lighting isn't good enough or the backdrop isn't good enough or the camera isn't good enough. And most of the people who end up really successful, and you're talking about animation, but if you're talking about just like people in the YouTube space, is just start and get better incrementally as you go, and it'll make more sense rather than just expecting to from the moment you start. In fact, most people don't trust something when it starts out really, really good. Like if somebody just drops into the space and they got like a $4,000 camera and the lighting is perfect, they're like, what billionaire propagandist is funding this bullshit?
That's a good point.
Like, it has to grow. It has to form its own identity, and that's usually, like you said, perfect is the enemy of good.
Corey Anderson said, did you hear that Pints with Aquinas has joined DW? Yes.
Yes, yeah. Matt Fradd's a good friend. I'm happy for him. I hope that this platform introduces other people to Catholicism. I know people have concerns about the Daily Wire, and some people have had concerns about whether, they're going to change Matt Fradd's message. I don't believe that. I know Matt. I really trust Matt. He's a good man. And if the Daily Wire did want to make some kind of change, which I don't believe that they would, but if they did, I don't think he would do it. I really trust. And part of why I say that is because Michael Knowles and Matt Walsh have been able to be very Catholic, and I don't think that there has been any drawback. That's not saying I agree with everything the Daily Wire says or does, by the way. It's just that Matt's a friend. I do not believe that this would impact his integrity if that was ever to come up.
Every episode has like a cut in from Ben Shapiro to like push back.
I didn't know there was that much backlash about it. I didn't see that. Corey Anderson said, have you thought of doing a 6-hour cast for charity before you take your Christmas vacation where all the super chats can go to Mary's church's food pantry? No, we have not thought about doing that.
Bro,
and even if we wanted
to
do that,
my food pantry,
guys, even if we wanted to do that, like, we don't keep the super chats, right? Like, they're for the company.
It goes into like the point is that all the money that the show makes proves to them that the show is worth keeping around. It goes against our salaries.
This is not we don't own the show.
Yes.
So we don't own the super chats either.
But the point is that the better this show does, the better off we are because it's job security.
Yeah.
It's like if they're just paying you and then it doesn't.
Well,
actually
I understand that,
make any
but
money.
I'm just saying, even if we wanted to do that, that wouldn't be our choice.
Like, hey Tim, by the way, like the other
He'll
day,
be like, oh yeah, it's going to charity.
he's like,
yeah.
He's like, hey, by the way, Tim, like we did a charity stream on the show, and he's like, oh,
that's cool.
Did we?
Oh, that's cute. Corey Anderson said, Seamus, you seem like a good dude to drink with. There is a Guinness brewery near my house in Columbia. If you ever around, beers are on me.
Brother, I appreciate that, and I love Guinness.
Shane H. Wilder said, no one ever died, but we had to stop the haunt for a woman who went into labor. We had warning to enter at your own risk if pregnant. She didn't listen. Wait, so there a pregnant woman who was about to give birth went in your haunted house and she went into labor?
I mean, maybe she was like one of those people that was like dead set on going into labor, and it's like the hot food isn't working, the spicy food isn't working.
That's crazy.
No, it was a haunted house for feminists, so they just had a woman giving birth in there to scare them. They're like, oh my gosh!
It's a scary situation.
Somebody popped out and it's just like a birth certificate with no man's name on it, and she's like, ah.
Christina Lee said, I can't watch any K-dramas or K-movies because they all have feminism or LGBTQ or socialism undertones now.
Is that true? I've never.
Yeah.
I guess that's never been my genre.
Like, I don't.
Korea went woke.
Like, I don't. Okay, it's very
That's
hard
just
to
North
take.
Korea is the woke part of Korea.
It's very hard to like. People have different ideas of what constitutes woke. When I said I started watching like High Potential, people are like, "It's woke." I'm like, "Why?" Because it's like starring a woman. Like, is that what makes it
Yes.
woke? Like,
Yes.
I
Chad
guess.
meme. Yes.
Like, all right. Like, I just have to make up my mind for myself because people have different definitions of the word.
Shane H. Wilder said, I'm putting up Christmas decorations before Thanksgiving only because I'm filming a Phil Christmas short and need time to film and edit. You get a pass.
Yeah, you get a pass.
That's okay. Corey Anderson said, Brett ever hit up the roller rink to skate with OC? You ever hit up the roller rink? You ever hit up Jelly Beans?
When I was a young lad, yes, I absolutely did. When I was in the 4th or the 5th grade, or the.
Do you like going ice skating in the winter?
I haven't out here, but like I didn't go ice skating. I played hockey, so you go like in Minnesota. There's outdoor hockey rinks in the winter that are just kept up by whatever city that you're in with lights on them after dark. So you'd go bring your own puck and go. A lot of times there'd be like people there from all over the town, and you'd play pickup games. There.
I have ice skating trauma.
Really? What happened?
Ice skating trauma, yeah. What's that?
I was like 8 years old, and this guy, he was like a full grown man. He kept like coming around to the corner where I was like cowering and like spraying me with ice.
Stopping in your face?
Literally, yes. I was like, what kind of place is this?
What a dick.
Yeah, seriously. Potatoes for Seamus said, yes, let's let the Waffle House anger flow. There's no anger.
Just disappointment.
Yeah, just disappointment. Greg Duvier said, Seamus, bring back your podcast, Shamer.
I loved doing Shamer. Part of the reason I haven't had time is because I've been so busy producing the cartoons and getting this new animated show we're launching off the ground. I would love at some point down the line to start doing it again, though. I did really enjoy it. Part of the issue is there's a lot of people podcasting. There aren't that many people making animation. There's really no one actually in the right-wing sphere doing animation like this. So I want to put my time and energy into the thing that only I am able to do right now. But again, the more we're able to get these projects off the ground and the more time I have to step away from them to focus on other things, the more open I would be to returning to doing that, because I did like it. I mean, I did enjoy doing it. It got to be too much with everything else.
Shane H. Wilder said, we used holy water balloons as we knew the owners hated the church. They would harass churchgoers, so we had to do a drive-by holy watering. Yeah, I think I endorse that. That doesn't sound sacrilegious. It just sounds fun. Corey Anderson said, I pray every night for Jesus to return to punish the enemies of Christ, a.k.a. communists. Why is he ignoring me? We work, we eat, we praise the Lord.
So this reminds me of Jonah, because when God doesn't destroy the Ninevites, he's like, what? Why not? Like, he's mad that his preaching worked. You got to remember that at the end of the day, we want to pray for their conversion, because listen, we all have plenty of things God could punish us for, man. We've all got plenty of things God could punish us for. So we want to fight back against the communists in every way possible, but we want to pray ultimately that they stop being communists.
We got a Rumble rant here from Broody Gamut. It says, Seamus, as an animator, what are your feelings on the animated Tick show? Spoon?
I've actually never seen it, but I've heard it referenced. There's something to do with spoons on it.
Okay.
Yeah. So people make that reference to me from time to time.
Shane H. Wilder said, Seamus is spot on. None of my shorts end up exactly as I scripted or planned them, but at a point, you have to put your work out to the world.
So
exactly.
I record, like, the more I record solo videos, which it's weird. Mainly I do it because we only have so much time during the podcast. We don't want to be doing 7 or 8 topics every day. It gets to be a bit much. And a lot of the times it's weird industry stuff that I just don't know whether you would like. I don't like. I was reading the story today about like what caused Taylor Sheridan to break up with Paramount and go over to NBC Universal, and I find that fascinating. But I understand that not everybody finds that type of information fascinating. But usually, when the more of a hold I think I have on a topic and I want to talk about it, the less happy I am with it, because it's like I have an idea in my head of what it's going to sound like, you know, how it will move as far as the rhythm of the segment. But then when it's one, like I did one the other day, which had far less planning and went way smoother and way better. And I actually think it comes down to more of like what mood I'm in when I record it. If I come into work and I'm hungry and grumpy, I'm always going to hate it. Even if it's objectively fine, I'll go back and like listen to, I hate listening back to my own work later, but sometimes I'll have to cut stuff out and I'll be like, oh, this is fine. But at the time I was like, like, you just got to put it out there.
Corey Anderson said, this is a little bit backhanded, Brett, Olivia has really made you a better person.
See, the problem with that is
I love that so much.
I was objectively a perfect human being before I met Olivia, so that wasn't really possible as I had already reached the pinnacle of humanity. But she did add to it to make me like perfect plus, kind of like Paramount plus. I became perfect and more.
Wow.
But no, not really.
I was just taken aback. The first thing in the chat today was like, Brett's a terrible
Yeah.
person. I was like, what?
And then somebody else was like, I like Brett. He's sad.
What's going on?
I
You're
was like,
catching
you know what?
strays.
I was like, you know what? Fuck you guys specifically.
Okay, we have a 20 from Pop Culture Junkie. My Paramount source says Taylor Sheridan billion-dollar jump to Universal wasn't just about money. It was mostly due to new streaming chief nickel and diming his budgets and firing the execs Sheridan dealt with daily.
Yeah, from what I was reading about, Taylor Sheridan really values his autonomy with these deals, and he's, you know, his ability to deliver on 4, 5, or 6 shows, all of which do great numbers for them, affords him more autonomy than some random creator. He's given a lot of leeway with his work, and he's going to have a lot more to do over at NBC Universal, because from what I understand, his TV deal with Paramount doesn't run out until the end of 2028, but he can start making movies for NBC as early as 2026, which means that's NBC Studios, or it's like Universal Studios, also Focus Features, which seems more up his alley to do some more avant-garde work, a la something like Sicario, where it was like Wind River, like whatever it is. He'll do a lot of stuff over there, but he's a brand unto himself now, much in the way that like a Christopher Nolan is, just in a different sector.
Potatoes for Seamus said, better yet, Brett, OC has made you go to new heights.
Believe it or not, I haven't had the leg lengthening surgery, so I'm the same height that I was when we met.
Corey Anderson said, yes, I know you don't keep the super chats, but tax write-offs would be good for Timcast.
That is true.
Yeah, let Tim know.
That is true. All right, guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new here and you have not subscribed here yet already? Share it out with everybody. We want to get the word out on this show to everyone we know. So go ahead and do it. Seamus, where can they find you?
Twisted.
Oh, and yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So for decades, our culture has been eroded by the fact that entertainment media is dominated by people who hate your culture, who hate your way of life, who hate your family. I am pushing back against that with myself and my team. Nowadays, we have the most technologically advanced infrastructure for delivering stories that has ever existed before, with television and internet, and these mediums have been dominated by people who are putting out left-wing propaganda. We need to fight back against this because we can't win the culture war if we're not making culture. That's why we're creating Twisted Plots. It's a television-length animated anthology series, and we've already got the 25-minute-long pilot episode finished. You can watch it at twistedplots.com if you support the show. We need to be able to push back against the left. We can't do it without good entertainment. I've got the experience, I've got the track record, and I've got the team. If you give me your support, I will be unstoppable. We will be able to create the future of entertainment. It will be right-wing, and it will be grassroots. Go to twistedplots.com and help us make this a reality.
Perfect. I'm going to make a show about fat-shaming Tess Holliday.
Great. You guys should go to castbrew.com, grab yourself a bag of Mary's Ghost Blend. I highly recommend it, and I have George Santos's official endorsement, in case that changes your mind. You can send me validation on Instagram at MaryArchived, or you can send me hate on X, that is also MaryArchived, and help me get TikTok famous, that is also MaryArchived.
Perfect. If you guys want to follow me, I am on Instagram and X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. This show is 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than watch this show, you can rate and review on Apple Podcasts, which is another great way to help the channel out. If you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. I also want to remind you guys that on the weekend, I'm going to try and keep this steady each and every week. We have the PCC Weekend Update. If you are listening to the audio version of this podcast, these are segments that are done in addition to the episodes of Pop Culture Crisis. So you will be getting new content every Saturday at 5 p.m. So please go ahead and check that out this coming Saturday. Talked about a lot of stuff so far this week. It'll be great for you to listen to that as well. Thank you so much. We'll be back with another episode tomorrow, guys. Later.
Bye.
God